It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey Higginbotham, Jeff Jarvis, Ant Pruitt. We're all here. We'll talk about Jack Dorsey leaving Twitter and who his replacement will be. Some ideas for Twitter's business model going forward. Black Friday shopping and why it's dropping. And then all the new features coming to Google. There's quite a few for the holiday season. I think we've got a jam-packed show ahead. This Week in Google is next. Want to see my shoe?
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 640, recorded Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. Oh, that Bret Taylor. This Week in Google is brought to you by Our Crowd. Our Crowd helps accredited investors invest early in pre-IPO companies alongside professional venture capitalists. Join the fastest growing venture capital investment community at ourcrowd.com/twig. And by Udacity. Udacity offers online education that's geared toward people looking to take their tech knowledge to the next level. Get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. Visit udacity.com/twit to learn more. And by Cashfly. Give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with Cashfly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cashfly.com. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest news from Google and the Googleverse, including the metaverse. I can say that now. The metaverse, the Twitterverse, that kind of thing. Stacey Higginbotham is here. Nicest person, longest name, Stacey on IoT.com. Great to see you, Stacey.
Hello.
Hello. At Giga Stacey on the Twitters. And, of course, she does the Stacey on IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. It's just the IoT cast. Ant Pruitt's also here, my friend in studio.
Yes.
Hands-on photography. Hop. Hippity hoppin'. Twit.tv/hop. And, of course, get the chorus ready. Get the barbershop quartet ready.
Clear your throats.
It's time for the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the...
Craig Newmark.
This show is an affront to the musical spirit. The Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Between our theme and that,
the theme is worse. Yeah.
Is the theme worse? Is it? Okay.
No, the theme.
Just makes me think of Monty Python.
You want a great TikTok account and a Lapwood organ.
Maybe I should get Anna Lapwood and her organ to play our theme.
Oh boy, he's on.
I don't think how she could do it. Well, okay. And a Lapwood organ. I think it's one word.
Okay, well, I'll search for 3 and see what I find.
So, Leo, I will tell you, we were talking about coffee makers before the show.
Yes.
I found a Cuisinart that grind and brew single serve system.
Perfect.
That will support K-cups, but also will grind the beans if you want. And put them in a recyclable K-cup.
That's perfect.
To use.
Oh, so let's do this. By the way, she's an organist, conductor, and broadcaster.
All right.
Yeah, she's quite amazing.
And
she has a lot of fun on TikTok.
Here's a little bit of organ.
You got to start it over again. The sound. You checked your sound. It is not working.
We checked the sound and it didn't.
She's like in a big concert hall. That's like an opera house.
That's Albert Hall. I think
wow. Yeah, because I can feel that.
Now that is music.
Should we have that as your intro?
Play another one. She does the foot one. That's great. She's amazing. She's just amazing.
Festive Feet.
There we go. Yeah, this is it.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's quite a feat. F-E-A-T.
So, Mr. Jarvis, this is the TikTok you should recommend, sir.
This is.
Oh, so you're
like
okay with this?
You like this, huh?
All right, do one more. One more.
Find one more. Not that musical
This is great
stuff.
Okay.
Well, don't get me going. I'm going to start crying about Sondheim.
Oh, yeah, I love
me too.
Mr. Sondheim, of course. Here's one that at least I see a lot of motion.
So I learned the organ when I was a kid. That instead of the piano.
I remember
we
you
had an
saying
organ.
that once.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have one of those
and
Hammond organs that every living room in the 50s had in the house? Like that?
Maybe it was from my grandparents.
Yeah,
so
that
possibly.
was the one. Yeah. They bought that in the Encyclopedia Britannica.
A World Book.
Yeah.
So between 1880 and 1900, the number of pianos in America went from 800,000 to 4 million. 1 in every 15 homes to 1 in every 5 homes.
Wow.
Wow.
Figure that out.
And then the radio came out and they got rid of
Exactly. Nah, never mind. Get rid of it. Yeah.
But yeah.
I tweeted that, and everybody said, I got a piano. I'm trying to get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. You got to pay to get it taken away now.
I miss every once in a while you'll go somewhere where there's no TV, there's no internet, and people have to entertain themselves. And it's wonderful because people will do that. They'll sing, they'll burst into song, they'll do little skits, they'll play, charades. It's so much, it's nice.
What
It's
you do
wholesome.
on your cruises?
No, cruises, they got all that stuff. You don't have to. They got people to do that for you. That's the whole point of a cruise. All right, big story. Big story. Broke a couple of days ago. Jack Dorsey very suddenly leaves Twitter. This is his tweet. Not sure anyone has heard, but I resigned from Twitter. After 16 years of having a role at our company, from co-founder to CEO. We should say, by the way, I think a lot of people think Jack Dorsey invented Twitter.
Right.
That is not the case. He was at the company. Jack Biz Ev. And then the guy who invented it is a fourth person who had this
fifth Beatle.
Yeah, I've forgotten his name now, as everybody else has. But they were swinging on the swing sets at South Park in San Francisco, and they were trying to figure out what to do because Odeo, here was a good idea Ev Williams had. Why don't we do a podcast company, not make podcasts. We'll just have a directory and tell people how to download them, called Odeo, O-D-E-O. And that was such a flop, he ended up paying the investors back. He gave the investors back the money.
Which is pretty amazing. Noah Glass, was that his name?
Noah Glass.
Noah Glass, yeah.
There's the man. You know what? You could probably get that from, the best book about Twitter is Nick Bilton's book about Twitter. And he talks about that. Yeah.
Is that the name of it?
Hatching Twitter. Yeah, very good. Boy, you got a good memory.
Sometimes.
And Noah Glass was the guy who thought it up, but these guys were all there. Anyway, 16 years having a role in our company, from co-founder to CEO to chair to executive chair to interim CEO to CEO. Jack says it's time for me to leave. Why? Well, no one knows. No one knows.
Well, actually, Dan Premack had a really good story talking about.
What's the theory?
So his theory is that Elliott Management was unhappy with it.
That happened last summer.
Last March. And Twitter, they gave Elliott a board seat. They accepted some things. But behind the scenes, Elliott had wanted new management and more product innovation. And I think they just kind of influenced the ask until they got it, is kind of his theory.
They pushed it and pushed it and pushed it.
Or Jack just said
finally
enough.
it made sense to other people.
I'm rich.
Well, one of the things these folks, Elliott Management, are what they call activist investors. They buy a stake in a company, big enough stake so they get listened to, and then they go in and they really do try to shake things up.
Clean house.
And one of the things they didn't like was the fact that Jack was splitting his time between Twitter and Square.
Yep.
His other company. So he's going to stay at Square. I think also there's something to be said. Let me see if I bookmarked this.
Did you see how he says the whole founder-led is pretty much a problem nowadays?
Or it becomes one at some point, kind of, right? Wasn't he kind of saying that it's okay for a while?
Who said that? Jack?
Jack said it.
Nice.
In his message.
In that statement. Yeah.
I'm like,
There's also I can't remember where I read it, but it was an article saying, well, it's interesting that all of these people are leaving just as soon as it becomes hard.
Exactly. Exactly. Stuff is hitting the fan, and there's all kinds of controversy around your platform, and people are calling you out because everybody has a megaphone to do so now. So, taking that money and running. That's all.
The new CEO, it's funny, the stock market, when they saw the rumor that Dorsey was leaving, Twitter's stock went up. And then as soon as they heard who was replacing him, Parag Agrawal, they went, oh, and the stock tumbled.
Yeah.
He's a CTO, and the thinking is that the stock market didn't like it because he's an insider, and they wanted fresh blood. They wanted somebody who come and figure out what is really the challenge for Twitter, which is given its success, its position in the mind share of America, not necessarily the number of users, because that's not really growing, but it should be doing better. It should be making more money. And why isn't it? That's what the stock market's asking. And they figure, well, Agrawal is just going to do the same thing.
Agrawal.
Is that how you say Agrawal?
I'm sorry. Agrawal?
It's Agrawal, so I'm saying it phonetically. Agrawal. But I don't know.
Wait, Jack founded Square.
Oh, along with Ev Williams.
No, not Ev.
Oh, Square. Yeah. Square's Jack's baby. Yeah.
So
there's a famous story of him going to a makerspace and actually 3D printing the first, because the whole thing about Square was you got when it first started for free, they'd send you the card reader that would go in your iPhone into the headphone jack. Remember those? And
headphone jacks.
And there's the story is he would go to the makerspace, I think in the East Bay here, and 3D print him until he came up with one. I mean, he was very involved, in other words.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that because he was complaining about founder-led companies.
Right. Well, he's still.
How old is Square versus Twitter? Isn't it much younger?
Square was founded in 2009.
Not that much.
He's gonna stay on the board for a little bit, but he really wants to leave, and he says, "I'm going to leave because I don't want to be overseeing. I want Parag to have his." And by the way, this is a weird transition because usually there's months of preparing. I'm going to leave in June 1st. Nothing. Parag started that day.
This comes
but they had
like
a long search going on, he said. So it's been going on for some time.
Okay. Bret Taylor will be the board chair.
Which I think is really... And Bret got 2 jobs this week.
Yeah, he did.
Bret is now the co-CEO of Salesforce and the board chair of Twitter. And Bret is a really good guy in the Valley.
And co-CEOs are always a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I want you to know this was my decision, says Jack. I own it. It was a tough one for me. I love this service and company and all of you so much. I'm really sad, yet really happy. There aren't many companies that get to this level, and there aren't many founders that chose their company over their own ego. I know will prove this was the right move.
But then he also has cryptocurrency aspirations, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, interestingly, Parag Agrawal was also in charge of Twitter's crypto stuff. I presume still will be. CTO.
Well, the belief is he'll carry on Blue Sky in trying to come up with a distributed architecture, which is where I have the biggest hope. We've talked about it in the show a few weeks ago. I think there's a lot of hope for the next level of the internet in that kind of distribution, that kind of value-added layering.
From the point of view of a for-profit company, it's kind of hard to see how that helps Twitter be a successful company.
I think there's a lot of value-added services they can put on top, which you'd pay for, which would get premium advertising, which could have commerce. I think there's ways to have basically scores of Twitters, is what I see with Blue Sky.
What about Ben Thompson's take?
I didn't have a day to read it. Can you summarize it for me?
He writes long stories.
For him,
Bottom line,
he's brilliant, but
he says, well, it's actually quite interesting. He talks about Twitter's advertising problem, and I think he characterizes Twitter in a way that those of you who really love Twitter, and I'm talking about Stacy and Jeff.
I like Twitter as well.
Okay, so you two might agree with. He says Twitter is intense and combative. It's a lean-forward experience and far more likely to be tied to something happening in the physical world, whether that be watching sports or politics or doing work. In other words, you're leaning into Twitter. He says this matters for advertising, particularly advertising that depends on a direct response, which Twitter has been forced to resort to. When you're leaning back and relaxed, as in, say, Instagram, why not click through to that Shopify site to buy that knick-knack you didn't even know you needed? How many times have I done that? When you're leaning forward, though, and I think this is true of Twitter users, you don't have the time or the inclination. If you're doing Twitter, you're really not clicking ad links.
You're seeking information. not entertaining.
Yeah, but I've got another theory.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not done. Let me give you all of Ben's theory.
Yeah, it's
before
Ben.
yours.
I'm sorry. It takes a while. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Hey, I'm saving you hours of reading, dude.
Thank you. Yeah.
This ties into Twitter's third big problem. I forgot what the first one was. This was 100,000 sentences ago. It ties into Twitter's third big problem. The number of people who actually want to experience the internet this way, in this lean forward, active way, is relatively small. There's a reason that Twitter's user base is only a fraction of Instagram's. It's not a lack of awareness. For sure, everybody knows about Twitter. The reality is most people are visual. Twitter is textual.
Yep.
Which, of course, is exactly why Twitter's most fervent users can't really imagine going anywhere else. You three are the exact prototypes like that.
Yep.
So he says you're going to have a problem making money on Twitter in the old-fashioned way with advertising. He says, you know what? Twitter should bite the bullet and become a subscription service.
It did?
Well, fully subscription, paywall. Let's review. There's both little evidence that Twitter can monetize via direct response marketing. A reason to believe the problem is not simply mismanagement. I agree. I think it's structural. At the same time, Twitter is absolutely essential to a core group of users who are simply not simply unconcerned with the problems inherent to Twitter's model, public broadcast model, the abuse and mob behavior. They don't care about that, but actually find the platform indispensable for precisely those reasons. Twitter is where news is made, shaped, and battled over, and there's very little chance of another platform displacing it, in large part because no one's economically motivated to do so. They look at Twitter and go, well, yeah, I'm not doing that. So given this, why not charge for access?
This goes two things there. One is, I think you can, but if you have these value-added layers, and this is what Jack said when I said this on Twitter. He came back and said exactly. I said that Blue Sky thinks that the speech layer is going to be the commodified layer, and then you add value layers on there. I want to find the authoritative people. I want to find the entertaining people. I want to find the relevant things. I want to find stuff, and others can come along and create those value-added layers and charge for those. Charging for a place to go talk and blather? No, we got plenty of that.
Yeah.
But to go to the effort to find something on top, this is always what happens, right? It happened with I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, Gutenberg. It happened when we hit the turn of the last century when magazines exploded. There's efforts to say there's a wealth of things going on. How do we find stuff? That's point one.
Here's the difference.
Point two. Oh, can I get?
Yeah. I didn't know you had 2 points. Go ahead.
I told you it did, and then you didn't let me make it before about the advertising.
I lost track of the points. Go ahead. Point two.
Okay. Simply put, the advertising on Twitter sucks because you feel like you've been fooled every time you click on it, which is not good. And I think that what Twitter should do is what BuzzFeed did and what Vice did in their days is they need to open their own agency where we say, we know how to make advertising that works on Twitter. You idiots don't. And they haven't done that. And they've got to invest in advertising that would be relevant or would be worthwhile to do something. The advertising is there. I always think, I almost clicked on that. Oh, it's promoted. No, I'm glad I didn't. Those are my 2 points. Thank you very much for that.
I would submit that the reason your first point doesn't work is because Twitter is unique. So your first point, you're talking about an area where there's many different publications. But Twitter, I don't think there's anything like Twitter. Twitter is a unique experience. So I think anything that says let 1,000 flowers bloom is not the point. Everybody goes to Twitter because that's where it happens. But
there's a billion Twitters, though. You and I don't see the same Twitter.
No, I understand.
You hate it and I like it.
But there's still one Twitter, even if it's customizable. You go to Twitter. You don't go somewhere else. If in fact, I was just on Twitter and I saw somebody's name and I thought, is he dead?
Yep.
And the reason, in the trending
never look at trending.
I hate
never.
Well, on the Twitter front page, it's there. I hate to say it.
I don't look at it. I understand. I never see it.
You're using it wrong. So anyway,
no, I'm the one who likes it. You're the one who's using it wrong.
No, I think most people, by the way,
about it.
And Twitter certainly would prefer this. Go to the website, the front page. That's how they use it. I actually use TweetDeck, and I don't see any of that stuff. But really, if you go to the front page, that's what you see. But that's the point. This is where it's happening. This is it. This is ground zero. zero.
That's old mass media thinking. That's what they have to get rid of. I would get rid of trending entirely. And the idea that there is one Twitter and Twitter says, Twitter left, Twitter did this is BS. There is no Twitter. There's a whole bunch of fascinating, amazing, wonderful, informative voices, along with some jerks and a-holes. And the point is to find the ones that you like, and the ones that I like are going to be different, and that's okay. And there's value to be found in there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but this isn't exactly like the old way of like, there's a New York Times. Twitter isn't monolithic in that sense. It's only monolithic in that it's all happening at twitter.com. So I think it's the best of both worlds. It is absolutely whatever feed you want to make of it. But it all happens at twitter.com. And because it all happens at twitter.com, you can do that. You can conform it. And I tell you, this comes from my experience with Mastodon, which is a federated system. And there is no there. And so you have to actually actively figure out if you want to follow somebody interesting, you have to know about them. It's a completely different experience. On Twitter, it's all there. And it's trivial to add that person to your experience or take that person away from your experience. So I do think there's a lot to be said for the fact that it's a centralized one place.
When Harper's New Monthly started in 1850, they promised that, quote, it would be a place within reach. Its job would be to place within reach the great mass of American people, the unbounded treasures of the periodical literature of the present day. That's what we need for Twitter. And I think that's
what Twitter is. Isn't that what Twitter is?
No.
Except for the literature part. There's nothing longer than
my COVID list does that to an extent. Yes, but could I charge for my COVID list if you really wanted to know COVID stuff?
That's why I'm saying you can't. Twitter
can.
Well, no, but under Blue Sky, I could.
I know, and that's what's not going to work.
And I'll do more development. It's like an API for content recommendation.
Well, we'll see. I think Ben's actually got it exactly right. Now, there's a challenge because if you start charging for something that's previously free, that's people
I'm
not doing that. But I think enough people like you guys are so addicted to Twitter that you would. It can't be like a lot. It's going to be like Twitter Blue, $2 or $3 a month.
Yeah.
I think they made a mistake by making Twitter Blue too little in terms of features, too few features, and they didn't require it. But I think maybe you'd lose a third to half of your users, but if you could somehow charge $3 a month and keep Twitter being the place where it happens, that's a great business.
Well, to their credit, Twitter Blue is still new. They're probably working on some more features for that $3.
They just didn't they didn't go far enough.
Yeah, no time.
And if you lose users, you lose some of the value of the platform because I
don't think you lose the users that matter. The people who are most...
That's not true. The people who I follow that I find most interesting are not journalists and people like that. It's the people who are like small people who research FCC filings and, experts in antenna design.
Book history wonks on my side.
Yeah, and they may not be willing to pay $3 a month.
Yeah.
Plus, one advantage of your plan is that Donald Trump wouldn't bother with Twitter if it were just people paying for it. Seriously.
No, that's wrong. The reason he loves Twitter is not because the base sees him on Twitter. It's because the media sees it and then amplifies it.
That's it. That's all it is. Narcissism.
I don't think the base is reading him on Twitter. I think the media is, and that's one of the reasons you use Twitter, because that's where the media is.
Yep.
He could stick it in our eye.
Did you see?
How do we feel about 23? Twitter's policy on hosting
we have
people's
things
spaces?
to say on this.
This is really interesting. So another thing that happened.
Oh yeah,
it happened after Dorsey leaving. I wonder if this is Agrawal's first move. No.
I think
they ban sharing private images and videos without consent.
I did a lot of interviews about this.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What they're trying to do, I think it's just a badly written policy with a good intent. And a lot of us came on quickly and said, whoa, unintended consequences, watch out. Mm-hmm. The policy is trying to say we're trying to fight harassment. One of the ways people harass each other is by putting up addresses, and they already say you can't do that, and phone numbers.
No doxing.
Right. Another way they say is that we put up photos people don't want. And so what they're saying is if somebody comes to us and says, Jarvis put up a photo of Leo Laporte picking his nose, and Leo says, I'm fed up with this guy, Jarvis. He harasses me all the time. He knows I have a nose job. He knows how sensitive I am about this. And it's you can't understand how bad it is, but it's bad. And I didn't give my permission. So under this rule, because you didn't get permission for the photo to be up. Twitter can say, we'll take it down. Oh, I got a nose. I got a schnoz. We'll compare here.
No, but unfortunately in this analogy, I'm a public figure who they're explicitly exempt. But let's say I weren't a public figure.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, you're not fully exempt either. And so the problem is there's this broad statement which Twitter can use in the future if you come to them to say that photos without permission aren't allowed. But that statement alone is really, really troubling. Because do I have to go and get the permission of everybody I take a picture of in Central Park?
Yes. Yes. What's wrong with that?
They have to complain first. So they
have to complain first.
Let's say you took a picture of people in Central Park, and let's say I was skipping work that day, and I see myself in your picture. I'm like, oh, mother plucker. So I come after you and I say, hey, Jeff,
you skip?
Take that down.
Stacey, you skip? Oh, you skip going to work. I thought you were skipping as in hop and skipping. No.
Oh, I do also skip.
That would be embarrassing. That'd be more embarrassing, Stacey, if you were caught skipping.
So you could, as a private individual,
skip on this program, Jeff.
Let's stay on track here. As a private individual, you would say, I don't want you to have.
Then I would email Jeff/Twitter and I would say, hey, this photo of me is online and I don't want it. And Jeff would have to take it down.
I think it's
but
primarily.
If I never saw it.
It's primarily about harassment, say revenge porn, things like that.
Right, but it has implications for journalism. And what if here's the argument people make. So if one of the cops who murdered George Floyd said, I'm a private individual right now, as he was doing it, he was, and I didn't give permission to that photo and take it down. That's what people were fearing. The head of Reuters, of the New York, of the White House Press Photographers Association complained about just that on Twitter, saying, whoa, this is going to have an impact on journalism, on newsmakers doing things. And it's going to be used by cops to say, I'm a private individual, take that down.
Well, but are cops a private individual? If a cop's doing something in public as
not in their
part
public
of his
capacity.
Job, right. He's not a private individual. So I think
no. Public in the case of Twitter doesn't mean government. Public means
we don't know what it means. We don't know what it means.
It's a badly written policy.
Yeah.
So I don't think the policy is ill-intended. I don't think it's a problem in itself, but it can be misinterpreted. It's going to cause confusion. It needs a lot of clarification. And a lot of people.
What if I go to a protest? So let's say let's say I went to the QAnon Wait for JFK thing in Dallas and I took pictures of people there and I posted it and I was like, hey, this is,
nuts.
Well, I might. The only reason I would post a picture of someone in that situation, I'd be like, "Hey, it's the Q Shaman guy. He's hanging out here. I thought he was in jail."
I don't think this is so bad, honestly.
Well, I think the problem is it's turning into a judgment call for Twitter. It's not as black and white.
Any moderation.
It's the wrong judgment.
Yeah.
Yes,
any
it is.
moderation.
And you're quite right. But the judgment is not what the judgment should be. The judgment should be, is this harassment or not? Instead, the judgment is this public or private or not? And that's what's going to get into trouble with things like newsmaking. Now, to Stacey's point, your point, Stacey, I'll give you an example where that's the case. What if you go to a demonstration that has a lot of undocumented immigrants who are, and this happened at Northwestern University, where the paper took photos on campus of people in a demonstration. Well, and some of them said, whoa, that's going to
Let me read. Maybe you haven't read the actual policy. This policy is not applicable to media featuring public figures or individuals when media and accompanying tweet text are shared in the public interest or add value to the public discourse.
Right, so they've got to make a judgment about that. And I think I'd rather have them make a judgment
exempts
about harassment.
the George Floyd video. That exempts a lot of things.
Well, when does it become in the public interest? That's the issue.
Well, I think all journalism. I think all journalism would be shared, add value to the public discourse or in the public interest would qualify.
The 17-year-old young woman who took the video of George Floyd was not a journalist.
She's not a journalist.
Was not media. That's the point. So at that moment, some moderator says, "Well, let's look at the rules. Not a public figure, not give permission. It's off."
I think this is clear enough that a moderator understands that if it's harassment, it should go down. It should go down. I mean, that's what they're trying. That's what they're saying.
That's what the policy should be written as. That's my point.
If the purpose of dissemination of private images of public figures or individuals who are part of a public conversation is to harass, intimidate, or use fear to silence them, we may remove the content in line with our policy against abusive behavior.
Right, but above it just says outright, that photos without permission are not to be on Twitter. That's the problem. That statement then will get misinterpreted in all kinds of ways because that's the line of, it's on the bullets of this is not allowed. Photos without permission not allowed. Period. And other things will fall out from that. The caveat should be there.
Yeah,
I think this is.
It's fixable.
What's that?
It's fixable.
What's that button you have? The moral panic button. I think this is moral panic.
Dang it! It's not here at the studio.
Look, you chased Stacy away. I don't think this. I think you're presuming there's problems ahead of time.
Well, what does everybody complaining about the internet do all the time? Is what can happen.
I think this
is the time to have that discussion.
I think this is well designed actually, and is pretty clear in its intent. And obviously, it's not a legal document. It's not a contract.
Right.
It's just an expression of what their intent is in terms of moderation. And I think that it will be done properly. If it's not, then people can bring it up. But I think this is exactly right, that if it's shared in the public interest or adds value to public discourse, we'll allow it. If it's done to harass people, we will not. Here, let's bring up as an example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Lauren Boebert, calling Ilhan Omar a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're both public figures. It is probably not shared in the public interest or adding value to the public discourse. It's probably intended to be harassment. I think Twitter, there's enough room in here that Twitter can make a judgment call. They're going to have to. If you want something that's written so tightly that there's no judgment involved, I think you're out of luck. I
want judgment. I just want it that's relevant to the point, which is harassment. Rather than having that blanket
about that. Well, I understand the bullet point's there, but the bullet point is not the legal, like a legal contract. It has
get used that way. I guarantee you, cops are going to use it that way.
Well, then Twitter has the right to say no. It's because look, it's shared in the public interest,
right?
And it's not to harass you. It's because you murdered somebody.
Here's another example. So let's take a picture. Let's take a screenshot of the three of us.
Okay.
Or Stacy, if she's back, the four of us.
I'm back. I had to open the door for my dog.
I'm going to read on. Wait a minute. We recognize there are instances where account holders may share images or videos of private individuals in an effort to help someone involved in a crisis situation, such as in the this is specifically written for George Floyd, such as in the aftermath of a violent event or part of a newsworthy event due to public interest value, and this might outweigh the safety risks to a person.
That's a judgment.
We will always try to assess the context in which the content is shared, and in such cases, we may allow the images or videos to remain on the service. I think this is actually quite well written, and I think it's appropriate. And I don't think there's a reason to be.
Right. I just think we just disagree about the execution.
I don't think there's a reason to fear this. I think this is. Look, we keep saying we want Twitter to do something about this stuff. They do something, and now we equivocate and quibble.
Because we want clarity. And so Kathy Gillis, I think, was great about this. By the way, we should have her on the show. She's great. I'm trying to find her. I can't find her thread because she went on about Section 230 today.
Denise Howard.
I'm not alone in this. There were a lot of people who raised the same issues, which means that it wasn't clear enough, and it just needs to be clear. That's all. It's not a big deal. I had a New York Post reporter call me today wanting to find, this came a day after Jack left. This means something. I said, no, it doesn't. And they wanted to find it was a whole big thing. I said, no, it doesn't. Relax. Yeah. It's just that some of us are saying there could be unintended consequences.
I think it's quite clear.
Look out for
I disagree. For instance, we would take into consideration whether the image is publicly available and or is being covered by mainstream traditional media, or if a particular image and the accompanying tweet text adds value to the public discourse, is being shared in the public interest, or is relevant to the community. I think this is fairly clear about their intent, and I think their intent is 100% right on. Now, let's wait and see what happens, but I think it's much more likely that they're just not going to enforce it than that they're going to enforce it poorly. I think that much more likely this is lip service.
Right, and so then you're going to have people on the right coming after them and saying, I asked them to take down that photo of making fun of me, and they wouldn't do it. And they're going to find themselves.
I think there's enough places in this copy where they could say, no, read line 50. It says in the public interest. I don't see this being a problem. Now,
so we disagree there.
We'll wait and see. But
it's not a big disagreement here.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a bad policy. I think it's badly executed.
I'm really glad they did this. We've been wanting Twitter to take a stand on this because up to now they don't. And they take pictures. I'm a public figure, so I accept that. But they take pictures of my family and post them, and I can't get them down. So now I have a foothold to get them down. I think that's a good thing.
Nice. Denise Howell summarized it on Twitter. In general, under U.S. law, an individual's reasonable expectation of privacy when out and about in a public place is low. Will that factor into Twitter's analysis of what constitutes consent? This remains to be seen, but it sounds like Twitter has something more explicit in mind.
I think so. I would submit that Twitter doesn't want to be the place where you post pictures of kids fighting in school.
Yeah.
They don't want to be... Admittedly, that stuff's legal. You're in a public place.
Yeah.
That doesn't violate law, but they
Twitter
want
doesn't want to be a
higher
cesspool.
standard. They don't want to be a cesspool.
Yeah.
If I were Tom Brady, I would definitely want this taken down. So, I mean, no, see, he can't because he's a public figure, right? And this is newsworthy or not. I don't know.
Did you see the other news on line 23 that happened within the last hour or so?
No. Square's changing its name. Thank you for putting that in.
That's new.
It's going to be, okay, what's like Square but not? Block. Block. We're going to call it Block.
It's like trapezoid.
It's a little like...
As in blockchain.
Yeah.
There you go.
Payments giant Square will change its corporate name to Block effective December 10th. That's a big deal because you build brand recognition for years as Square. Now your
corporate
Block?
name, is that the brand of the are they changing the brand of the service?
Well,
we built the Square brand for our seller business, which is where it belongs, said Dorsey. Block is a new name, but for our purpose of economic empowerment, remains the same.
Here's what Kate Rooney's writing at CNBC. I think she's right. The move comes as Square expands beyond its original credit card reader business with a focus on new technologies like blockchain. I think that's fair.
Yep.
Block. It'll still be ticker SQ.
Blockhead jokes to come.
Yeah, Block's a good name. I'm surprised it's available.
Oh, I'm sure they paid a pretty penny for it.
By the way, I forgot this, but they bought Jay-Z's music service, Tidal.
Yep.
They own Tidal?
Yeah, I forgot that. They also bought the Buy Now. By the way, apparently, we were talking about this on Windows Weekly. Buy Now, Pay Later is all the rage. Apparently, they bought a Afterpay, which is a Buy Now, Pay Later thing.
They own Afterpay?
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, Stacey. Let me see what else I can tell them.
They bought Hershey's chocolate too, Stacey.
No, they didn't. No.
I'm like, what else do they own? I'm so flummoxed. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So
I'm
the
just
reason
here to echo you.
We were talking about Buy Now, Pay Later on Windows Weekly is unaccountably Microsoft has bundled this in, and you can't turn it off, a little Buy Now, Pay Later thing into its browser Edge to encourage people to buy now, pay later.
Guess what browser I don't use?
Yeah, that's a really good reason not to use the browser.
I tried it
That's
at first,
ridiculous.
but then they started putting a bunch of coupon things up on the screen.
I feel like buy now, pay later is the equivalent of payday loans, right? It's like...
Could be predatory.
It's less predatory, but I mean...
Yeah, there's no interest, right? If you buy now... Is it like layaway? What is it?
It's more like layaway. Most of them don't have interest, but they can... Well, no, there's some...
They just have long terms.
What's the evil part here? Is it to get you to buy things you can't afford?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them just have those long stretched out terms.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was I read like several articles. I was fascinated by it because I was curious who was doing it.
Well, let me look up what Afterpay's terms are, since they're owned by Square. Afterpay your gift list. Apparently, it was one of the things that fueled Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales.
Wow.
Lot of... And by the way, the kids call it BNPL. A lot of...
Thank you.
A lot of...
OMG.
Bunpul purchases for Black Friday. Afterpay. How it works. Here we go. Shop now, pay over 6 weeks. Never pay interest. Who pays for this? The merchant? There's got to be... How does Afterpay make money?
So you get late fees. And merchants do pay. And it says, let's see, Credit Karma did a survey. This is a Consumer Reports article on it. 34% of consumers who use BNPL services fell behind on one or more payments. Younger people are more likely.
Afterpay says late fees are capped at 25% of the purchase price. So clearly they're hoping to get a little bit of that.
Is this for the unbanked and the uncredit carded, or how do you pay in turn? Do you pay with your credit card?
It's an option get away from credit cards.
No external credit checks, no interest, no fees when you pay on time.
That's a lot of this.
Yeah.
That's a lot of this. So it's a risk thing, calculating the risk of a bad pay.
And I'm thinking the merchants pay a few points on the sale too, right? That must be where the bulk of their revenue comes from, the merchants. Because it's like a credit card, right?
But it's not. And so that's what
it's not because they're not. Yeah, because they're not. Well, I guess they are giving you credit.
Afterpay charges.
It says some of them.
Here, I've got the info. Afterpay charges 4.17% to the merchant on all sales.
Ooh, that's higher than a credit card.
Yeah. So it's late payment fees plus merchant fees.
Yeah, and sometimes your late payment fees, if you miss them, they will get reported to a credit bureau, but sometimes they won't. And it kind of depends. And the rules vary via provider.
So the online shop charges a flat fee of 30 cents, and a commission that varies with the value and volume of the transactions processed using Afterpay. The more you sell, the lower the percentage. The fee can be as high as 6% per transaction and as low as 4%. So it is more than a credit card.
Both higher than a credit card.
In order to get you to the merchant, so I'm Joe's blue jeans shop. In order to get you to buy blue jeans, got a young people in here. They don't have credit cards. I say, look, buy now, pay later. It's easy. I give up 4 to 6% of the sale, but I make the sale.
I wonder if you can get insurance for bad debt, bad payment.
Afterpay pays within 48 hours, so the risk is not on the merchant.
Cash flow is good.
The risk is on Afterpay.
Yeah.
Afterpay pays the whole amount.
Yeah.
Within 48 hours. Oh, wow. So it's risk mitigation business. It's entirely a risk mitigation business. Yep.
The merchant is totally fine.
I wonder if you get turned down. Can you kill off your Afterpay account because you've?
Oh, I'm sure they can be blacklisted from Afterpay.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. On the other hand, maybe they don't want to blacklist you because they get the sweet 25% in late fees.
Yeah, like credit card companies want you to pay late.
Yeah. Well, now we've learned everything there is to know about BNPL. And by the way, when asked, Microsoft said, when you use Edge and buy now, pay later, we don't take a fee from the merchant. But then when asked, well, does anybody pay you? They said no comment. So, which is, the answer would be, we make money on it. I just feels a little skeevy to me for Microsoft to encourage this. I guess it's no different than a credit card, but we'd certainly been doing that for years. I tell my kids, don't if you use a credit card, but pay it off every month. Because I remember when I was their age, running up $30,000 credit card bills, right?
The stupid credit cards that shows up on the college campus for freshmen.
And the interest is so high, you can't pay it off.
Vultures,
totally screwed me up.
Yeah,
screwed me up.
I had to dig in my 30s, real deep to get that payment, and then to finally pay off all the credit cards. Man, what a great feeling that is. And I just made a point from now on, the credit card is not a charge card.
Right.
I'm not going to run up a bill.
Because, what 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds know that stuff?
That takes it to some discipline, exactly. Yeah.
My wife took over our bills real fast after we got married.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's why I married Lisa.
But it didn't hurt.
It's nice to have a CFO. Yeah. It's nice to have a CFO in the family. She's almost like scary good at this stuff. It's like, oh wow, we've paid off the house. Oh yeah,
it shows.
Oh my God,
it shows.
She's scary.
I'm good.
And me, I'm like, how many times were the lights turned off on the house because I forgot to pay the electric bill. We actually got, and this is hard to do, got the water turned off. That is hard to do.
Wow.
It wasn't I didn't have the money.
Yeah,
it was just I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I saw the notices.
My wife makes fun of me because I used to insist on paying the bills once a month because that's how I should do it. Is do it once a month. They said, well, that doesn't matter. I don't care.
The 31st of the month, you sit down at your little desk, your little armoire. You pull down the desk, get out your fountain pen.
That's right.
Get your checkbook, and you go through all those, get some stamps.
Yep.
You link them all, you mail them all out.
Yep.
I used to do
that. All right, so Aunt, who pays the bills in your house?
Me.
Stacy, who pays the bills in your house?
Andrew.
Andrew does, but I can also do it. I'm listening to y'all and I'm like, how did y'all make it through life? I mean, the only reason Andrew does it is, because he's doing the business stuff anyway. But
yeah, so you have two people in the family who could do that.
Yeah, Queen Pruitt, she contributes or whatever, but most of it falls on me, and that's an agreement we've had from day one.
Here's a number.
Yeah, you got to agree.
I'm going to take over the numbers of the week. Here's a number. And this is from our chat room. Thank you.
This is going to be good.
Matt. The average American has a credit card balance of $5,525. Probably running that month to month.
Wow.
And what's the interest rate? It goes up to 18.
I was going to say at least 15%.
Yeah, it's like 18 or 19.
Yep.
Jeez.
Anyway, so Twitter. What do you think?
Twitter.
Are they? I feel like
I'm still enjoying Twitter Blue.
I'm I don't get much out of it, but it's good. I get the top articles. It's
top
nice.
articles has been great for me so far.
They were so smart to buy Nuzzle and incorporate that in, because there were a lot of people.
I will say I wasn't happy that they bought Nuzzle.
No,
I was a little
nobody
angry.
was.
Well, did they buy Nuzzle directly, or did Tony buy Nuzzle?
Oh no, yeah, they bought it. They bought the company that bought Nuzzle. You're right, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I bet you that the Venn diagram of Twitter users and Nuzzle users was like 50, 60, 70%, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still happy with Twitter Blue at the moment. It's $3 well spent.
You know who I'm not happy with?
Who?
Act Blue.
Act Blue?
This is the, and I'm sure there's an Act Red. This is the donation system.
Oh, this is the democratic donations system.
Uh-oh.
I feel like this is a scam.
Uh-oh.
For instance, they some dark patterns a little bit on the site where you don't know that you're signing up for a monthly contribution. I didn't notice for months that I was giving $1,000 to Mark Kelly, who already won.
Oh, Jesus.
Predatory?
Schmuck.
Predatory much?
It's dark patterns in action, baby.
And both sides do it. I know that that's very common in Republican fundraising as well. So I'm just not going to use Act Blue anymore and go right to donate right to the campaign. Although the only reason it's coming up is because I see Stacey Abrams is using Act Blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I can't.
They all do.
She was in Georgia,
they all do.
Well, you just got to pay attention. But yeah,
you do. Leo.
Also, though, don't they take a chunk?
And I didn't do that.
Don't they take a chunk? Don't they take a chunk?
They do, but you also can give them more.
And then they want you to also tip them.
No.
It's pretty predatory.
I'm just going to give direct. Okay. Wow, I'm going to take a break now. After this fascinating but heated...
You didn't show can you show it? The thing that made you laugh before we went on the air?
The Onion?
Oh, yeah.
I'll show it, but there's a bad word in it. I had somebody sent me, join the forums saying you shouldn't say the word crap. I'm never going to listen to your shows again because you said the word crap.
Yeah.
I got kicked off the BBC for using the word crap because I was trying not to use the S word. I thought, well, this is safe. I'll say crap. And boom, they kicked me off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not of that religion. But I don't like the other a-hole word. Self-important a-hole making big show about leaving Twitter, Jack Dorsey. Of course, that's, a play on the fact that everybody, including me, by the way, who leaves Twitter, has to write the obligatory blog post about why I'm leaving Twitter. Jack didn't write a blog post. Yeah, I think that's good. Our show today brought to you by Our Crowd. I love talking about this because... for years, I don't invest in the tech companies, and I've sat on the sidelines and watched people like Kevin Rose get rich with the same, because they're covering these stories and they're investing, and I'm just like, well, I'm sitting on the sidelines. Maybe though, you have to be at a certain position in your life where you've done all the right things. You got the rainy day fund and you're saving in the right way for retirement, all that stuff. But there comes a time when you're saying, I would like to invest in some of these exciting new companies, these startups, because every once in a while one comes along. I knew I should have, boy, if I could have only invested in Twitter before it went public, which is what Kevin Rose did, I would be doing well right now, sitting pretty. You should know about Our Crowd. Our Crowd, a bunch of very smart venture capitalists. They're always analyzing companies. In the private market, now this is what's different. This is not you're not buying stocks. Then the global and global's important too, by the way. They look all over the world. They select those with the greatest growth potential, and then they present them to you and say, would you like a chance to invest? From personalized medicine to cybersecurity to robotics, quantum computing, and more. In state-of-the-art labs, startup garages, everywhere in between, our crowd is identifying innovators so you can get in when the investment potential is the best, which is early, before the exit, before the IPO. But you can't. It's not something you can do easily, right? You don't read about these companies in the paper. And I should mention, in order to do this, you need to be an accredited investor, which every country has different rules about this. You can find out. You can by just going to the Our Crowd website and entering your country, and they'll tell you what the rules are. But Our Crowd's accredited investors have already invested over $1 billion in growing tech companies. Our Crowd has had now 46 exits, 46 IPOs or sale exits of their investments, and those members really benefit when you get a big exit. This is a great way to truly diversify your portfolio. Investing, and it doesn't have to be a massive investment, I'll explain. Investing early in innovative private market companies at Our Crowd. Actually, Our Crowd has two ways to do it. Accredited investors can participate in single company deals for as little as $10,000. If you're in this ballpark, a very reasonable amount of money.
It's pretty reasonable.
They also do funds. They're a little more expensive, but you can get one of Our Crowd's funds for as little as $50,000. But a minimum of $10,000 is required to invest. And as I said, investment terms may vary depending on what country you're in, where you're investing. So you can find out what those terms are when you go to the site and input the country you're investing from. You must be an accredited investor. Our Crowd is not taking advantage of anybody because you can join. You don't have to spend any money to go to ourcrowd.com/twig. Join this fast-growing venture capital investment community. It's free. You won't pay a penny unless you say, they'll present to you, and you say, I like this one. I'd like to buy in. So it's at no cost. It's a great way to find out what's going on. I think this is really clever. And I just wanted to present this to you as an opportunity. ourcrowd.com/twig. I think it's a really interesting and a really good idea. If you join, you can read about. I can't talk about the current opportunities. There's all sorts of rules. If you join, you'll find out ourcrowd.com/twig. But you can, if you look on the website, see some of those previous exits, and some of them very, very successful. ourcrowd.com/twig. Thank you, Our Crowd, for supporting Twig. Thank you, Twig listener.
Indeed.
You support us by using that address so they know. ourcrowd.com/twig. Hey, speaking of Twig listeners, our Club Twit community manager is here.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Ant Pruitt.
You're honored.
You got a big event coming up on Friday. I'm excited. I want everybody to know about it.
Yep. We will be having a fireside chat with the wonderful Miss Mary Jo Foley. It's 10 a.m. Pacific. I just want to pick her brain a little bit, so I'm going to ask her a couple questions about her, her history and past and so forth. But it's going to be fun.
And you'll get to ask questions, too.
And we'll take some questions in there, if I don't take up all the time.
No, don't. But because this is the incentive to be a member of Club Twit.
Join the club.
You cannot watch this on Friday. You can't listen to the feed later because it's on the Twit Plus feed unless you're a member.
That's right.
This is what we're trying to do, is give you a bunch of reasons to join Club Twit. A lot of people we figured would join because you get ad-free versions of all the shows. That's nice.
No, most of them are there for the Discord.
I think the Discord is a very surprising and wonderful thing. Stacy had her book club there. Is going to do another one. There's a poll right now for the next.
And that poll is now closed.
What did you pick?
I officially closed it. It is Autonomous by Miss
Annalee Newlitz.
I can never say her
Yeah, and in fact, I interviewed Annalee on triangulation.
I remember.
And I've read the book. It's a fun book.
It's a super fun book.
Yeah, and brings up some interesting robot-human questions.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, see, next up is we'll have to schedule the time for the next book club, and Miss Stacy, I will be reaching out to you to figure that out.
It's going to be January because.
So when's the book?
Crazy
when's the book club?
January.
When are you going to do Autonomous?
That's what we got.
January.
Okay. I don't know if it's going to be January after I've looked at my calendar, but we'll see.
We have a lot of stuff coming up too. Amira and Mike Elgin are going to do as fire. I'm going to do that one. We also have, you said Jeff Jarvis.
Jeff Jarvis is, well, he's coming up a little bit later in the spring.
Yeah, I think he scheduled me for like 2024.
I believe.
Yeah. Put that off as long as you can.
$7 a month.
Andy Anatko, I'm going to sit with him.
Oh, good.
He is
see all the stuff you get, and I mean, this is huge. We have the Untitled Linux show in there, the book club. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the Discord. All of the shows make it to the Twit Plus feed, including Dick DiBartolo's Giz Fizz. So if you are interested, I think it's a very fair $7 a month. One Frappuccino.
Fancy cup of coffee
done.
a month.
And all the details and everything at twit.tv/clubtwit. And by the way, it's month to month. One of the reasons we made it month to month is if you join and you go, I'm not getting my money's worth, that's fine. I understand completely. We will always continue to do what we do. You know, the shows for free, the chat room, irc.twit.tv for free, the Twit forums, twit.community for free.
What's funny is the main complaint is it should be $10 a month, not $7.
Really? I think $7's right.
Thanks for writing in about that, folks.
Yeah. Remember, full gets.
Y'all can pay more. You could have a $7 or a $10 option and see what people
Remember,
choose.
full gets a cut, Stripe gets a cut, but I think we end up being about $5 per person per month. We're very happy with that. We're so grateful to all of you. And if you do that, you don't have to listen to the ads, which I think some people really like that idea. So
get comments about that too. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to pay the $7 a month, and I still want to hear the ads. So
and people say, I don't want another subscription. I completely understand. That's fine. We're not, there's no pressure, but
we won't show up at your house demanding money.
Yeah, appreciate this
today.
The support. Appreciate the support.
All right, Aunt may show up at your house.
Oh God, terrifying.
Run.
Black Friday, not great.
It's not a thing anymore.
Not a thing.
No. And the novelty is worn off. The whole long lines and stuff. I can remember Thanksgiving leaving my mother's house on Thursday evening and whatnot, and getting on I-85 north to head back to Charlotte, and there's always this traffic heading out to the different exits near malls because people were going shopping.
Lisa and her sister
eating their meal
used to get up at 4 a.m. on Thursday night, Friday morning to go to Target. For the doorbuster specials. I don't think people do. Remember, you'd see all those
you don't do that no
news
more.
Stories about people crushed?
Yep.
You don't see that anymore. I think there's a few things going on. Black Friday shopping dropped 28% from pre-pandemic levels. Now, this is according to Adobe, and this is to big brick and mortar stores, okay? Yeah. Online was about even with last year. So some of it went to online. But I have a new theory that nobody's mentioned. I think there's also a move to buy local. And those aren't getting counted by Adobe because they're small mom and pop stores. And I wonder, because I've noticed Lisa and I are doing that for our Christmas presents. We're shopping
Rich
downtown.
people buy local.
I was going to say, what?
Rich people?
Yeah.
I'm serious. Buying local is expensive.
Yeah.
So rich people, and there's Small Business Saturday, but really here's what it is.
That's sad.
It's this year, you got the pandemic. You also got the worries about supply chain, so people started doing their sales early.
They've been selling a lot longer. You're right. It's spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the online shopping. Most people would rather do online shopping. Many retailers decided not even to open on Thanksgiving. And so I think
visits to brick and mortar stores on Thanksgiving Day cratered 90% from a year ago. That's according to Sensor. 2 years ago.
That may also be due to the workforce issues.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Target decided to close on Thanksgiving. Walmart, Best Buy, all
My
closed.
local Starbucks is closing every day at 1 p.m. now. 1 p.m. Closing.
You need more teenagers. Have you noticed this?
That's what it sounds like.
I'll try to make some.
Get on that.
I noticed this downtown at Starbucks downtown.
Give me 15 years.
It's filled with high school kids. This is, instead of going to the mall, they go to Starbucks. They do their homework. They sit at the tables. They drink coffee. They chat. It's a social thing.
It sure is.
Is that me? Or
They've been doing that for like 10 years.
Yeah, I know. I'm just noticing. Yeah.
Oh.
But I think that's interesting. But I think the reason that your Starbucks, Jeff, closes early is because everybody in your neighborhood's in bed by 1 p.m.
I think it's a labor. I think they're trying to
They can't hire people.
tough out unionizing.
Yeah.
No, they could
they're
get more
fighting
staff if they paid more. They don't want to pay more.
They're
fighting the unionization, so they'd rather close the stores and make less money. I'm shocked I haven't seen a business story about this. Just shocked.
You said this, but this is only yours. I know that
all around me.
My
all
Starbucks are.
But you're also in Seattle, though,
close
Stacey.
Starbucks.
Maybe people don't buy coffee after noon in your neighborhood.
They all want to sleep because they're old.
It's nap time.
I will say I agree with Miss Stacey regarding the big box stores versus the shop local, because I can make that sacrifice and buy my groceries at the more expensive, family-owned grocery store or whatever. But electronics, I don't know if I can afford to do that, because
there's no real mom and pop electronics store, is there?
Well, I mean, some camera shops and things like that.
They're all dying though because of that, right? Mm-hmm. They're all dying, but I mean,
I still try to support the one in Santa Rosa.
Mostly, it's clothing, I think. Mm-hmm. So only rich people go to a clothing store. Is that what you're saying?
No. What store do they go to?
That's counterintuitive to me, but they go to the big. They go to Costco to get their pants.
I go to Walmart,
Costco, Target, Walmart.
I go to Walmart for my
H&M, Zara.
It's a lot cheaper.
Where do you shop, Leo?
I shop at Neiman Marcus, Brooks Brothers, and Tiffany.
Beautiful.
No, this is Ella Bean, actually.
Oh, no, we're not going to mention them. We gave them
Did you get that free along with
We've already given them way too much.
LL Bean goes with the wicked good slippers. I only buy clothing from Maine. Actually, that's true. These shoes are also from Maine. So
how did you get your shoe off that quickly, man?
Maine shoes are easy to put on and easy to take off. That's one of the reasons you buy shoes from Maine.
I forget this table is high for you, considering.
Is it high?
I can't really move like
that.
See
that
table.
And can't lift his
weight. You see it? Made in Maine.
Made in Maine.
It says that, doesn't it? Made in Maine, USA.
Now your finger smells too.
Does not smell. I have clean
this time.
Ant, be honest, does it smell?
I'm not smelling his finger.
Oh, no.
Okay, we've hit a new low. This show has hit a new low.
Okay, let's talk about what other stories. My God,
Stacey's trying
Google
to bring it to anything else.
Thank you, Miss Stacey.
Anything.
Back on the tracks.
There's a chip story, Stacey. There's 2 chip stories. That'll save us.
What's the chip story?
I don't know. I think it's boring, but she'll make it interesting.
No. Oh, let's talk about.
There's a Tesla story. There's a really good Tesla Model Y story. That's a good one.
Oh,
the dog says
the dog agrees.
Muting.
The Tesla story.
PayPal says spending via its buy now, pay later service soared 400% on Black Friday.
See, you're just behind the times, Leo.
Is it the people? Is that how poor people buy things?
It's an honest question and an honest answer. Yes.
And that's why you're poor.
Exactly.
You don't spend the money you have. You spend the money you don't have yet.
Exactly. It's all predatory.
Big story. Here's one. I got one that Stacey's going to go, ooh.
I'm ready. Ooh.
No, actually, you're not. Meta has chosen Amazon Web Services as its long-term strategic cloud provider, according to protocol. A big win for AWS. I think if Meta, which is...
I thought this was so weird because Meta, like Facebook was one of the pioneers behind open compute. They were like... All the way back in 2008, I was quizzing Mark Zuckerberg on how many servers they had because it was a really interesting number. So, I, for the longest time, thought they would
she'd really like this story.
Push out. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're right. You didn't get an ooh, but you got another exciting interest. Yes,
it worked really well.
Yeah, it did.
Back off, and I won't talk about it.
No. It's good. No, you're exactly right.
Love it.
Facebook's famous for open compute, which was a network operations center.
Yeah, and I thought they should offer their own stuff as a PaaS.
Yeah.
They do run their own. So I thought they were going to offer everything as a PaaS. I always thought that would be a really interesting business model to go up against Amazon Cloud, but one layer up.
Part of the reason they say is this is for PyTorch. What's that?
Oh, machine learning. Y'all are just making fun of me. Machine learning programming. Y'all are very mean. And I am the nicest person other than Ann on this
What
show.
is PyTorch? Tell us. I think PY means Python, right?
It is. It's a framework for machine learning.
Okay. And so why can't Facebook run their own freaking PyTorch servers?
I guess it's because it's Facebook. If you think about cloud computing and Facebook's monolithic jobs, like the big jobs that they would need, like their specialized data center infrastructure for, is probably things like storing photos, newsfeed, their social graph stuff. So maybe the machine learning was just one bridge too far for them. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So having that kind of workload, Amazon's built their Graviton. They've built what is it called? Like Infra. They've got the worst names. They've got a bunch of machine learning options available for you. So maybe Facebook was like, we don't need to build it. Amazon's got it. It's cheaper.
This, by the way, was announced at Amazon's reInvent conference today, or it will be anyway.
Yes.
Are you paying attention to AWS reInvent? What is that?
That's their big, giant cloud computing conference. And I always preface it as like, it's where Amazon tells you which businesses and startups it's going to kill this year. Because every time it sees like a startup doing really well or a feature that's gaining ground, it's like, let's launch that. And then it does. And then
who goes? Now it's in Vegas. I don't know if it's a live event or it must be
a live event.
Yeah, if
Probably
you're doing it in
is.
Vegas, it must be
hybrid.
people. Yeah. Who goes to this?
Everyone who's anyone in enterprise computing.
But Stacy, you're not there.
Are you sad?
I'm watching it virtually.
You are. Okay.
Okay, that's sensible.
And so people who are interested in enterprise computing go, and Amazon then presents to them what AWS is up to?
They release so much news. There's like, I don't even know how many services. There's over 200 AWS services, cloud services, right?
It's
Is it like
crazy.
Dreamforce for AWS? Is it?
Yeah,
where
it's
all
like
the vendors
Dreamforce,
come
but
and
only for Amazon's cloud computing. Or that's exactly what it's like. And they'll do.
I like how you
with,
advanced
their
from
big
kind of to exactly. That was nice.
Well, I was like, it's like the Google
Jeff, you're
equivalent is
always
their
wrong,
cloud.
but actually in this case,
It's not like Google I/O.
It's like their Google Cloud event.
Okay. It's for partners,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
right? Mostly like people who are already,
It's people who build on Amazon, but it's their customers go. It's everybody in enterprise. So the investors are going to be there. You've got all the startups there. You've got anybody who's got to build any sort of application. I mean, it's a huge show. Like this year, like the 2019 one had, I think, 60,000 attendees.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have to say,
no, it's legit.
Jeff Bezos is famous for years. I think they still do it. Not buying desks for people who work at Amazon, but giving you a pair of sawhorses and a door for your desk. And I'm looking at the video feed of what's going on in Amazon reInvent. And this is the equivalent of two sawhorses and a door. This is the cheesiest TV set. It doesn't even go all the way behind the person. It's like, we couldn't afford
what
to have
building
it.
is that? A bad
Another
Florida
6 feet?
hotel?
That's there is the full
that's
view.
the
It's just a
Bellagio,
strip,
the
but it's a
strip.
picture of the strip that's too short to actually go behind the host. Those chairs look horrible. We just bought chairs like that on Amazon. In fact, Ashley, our marketing person, bought a chair there, and we're laughing, right? Because she said it was really small. It's like too small. It's a little tiny chair.
Oh no!
Come on, Jeff. I guess he's not the CEO anymore. Come on, Andy.
He's not. Was it Jassy? What's his name?
Andy Jassy. Yeah.
Andy Jassy.
Anyway,
Andy Jassy.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't mock
Who
that.
used to be
There's another.
AWS guy.
reInvent every year.
I think there's another big AWS story on Line 52. I think that's big.
On line 52,
Hold on. Can I ask Stacy more about the chips?
there's a big story that
Oh,
that Ant wants to talk about.
Oh, that's not that super big, Jeff, but sure.
No.
Okay, I wondered.
NASDAQ is moving markets to Amazon's cloud. That's the story he wanted to talk about.
That's not a big deal.
Yeah. I
Not a big
mean,
client.
everyone's on Amazon.
Everybody uses AWS.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah. But NASDAQ, I don't even think NASDAQ is a big operation, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the NASDAQ used to come to, when I was at GigaOM, they used to come to all of our cloud computing conferences because they were always, like, all the markets are very advanced. All the the banks too, on the financial and the cloud front. So,
well, that was to me the fascinating thing about all this was Michael Lewis's Flash Boys, which was all about flash trading, and it starts off with somebody building a fiber as straight as possible, because even the slightest bend is going to slow it down between Chicago and the Chicago Exchange and the New York Exchange, so they could be milliseconds ahead of the other traders whose fiber line zigged and zagged. So they had to build it very, very, very straight, and it just shows you. You're right. And when it comes down to stuff like this,
cutthroat
technology is everything. So
yeah, and Jeff, just so you know, AWS has hosted a bunch of NASDAQ stuff for years, some of their data lake stuff.
Billions of transaction records in a data warehouse operated by AWS. Including
right near my office is the fake NASDAQ headquarters, which is ridiculous. It's on Times Square.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that actually happens there. They're just going to have flashing lights.
That's the other thing I learned in Flash Boys. He says, the stock exchange where you see the shots of going, buy. It's fake.
None of that.
Nobody's done that. It's in New Jersey. Yeah. Nobody's done that in years. It's all fake. It's all for show. It's so Maria Bartiromo has somewhere to stand and be the money honey.
Learn how to be insane.
She's no longer the money honey, is she?
No, she's
she's the nut job now.
Never mind. Don't get him started. Stacey, don't get him started.
Stacey, chips, Qualcomm's new chip.
Chip, no, we've got an AMD story. AMD story.
I wanted to ask
Breaking
you about
news.
The AMD partnering up with Meta. This was a couple of weeks ago, right after the name change. It's not breaking, but it's still pretty big news because they're partnering up with Meta with their cloud computing processing. Did you see anything about that?
Meta's going to use Meta's VR stuff. Their Oculus is going to use AMD chips, and they're going to actually they're going to use some new chips, which helped. I mean, somebody liked it because the stock price went up. 10%.
And the stock went up 10%.
Somebody liked it.
AMD's been on a tear though for the last couple of years in the stock market. Though
already, Sony and Microsoft both use AMD chips in their game system, so it's actually not much of a surprise, really.
Nice.
Yeah, these are good chips for that. And then you said Finland is going to have its first quantum computer up and running.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
It's pretty, isn't it? It's only don't get excited. It's only 5 qubits.
Well,
it does actually. It looks like a good K-cup machine. Maybe we should.
Thank you, Jammer B.
Get this for our coffee machine. We need a new K-cup machine. Oh, it's a little big for the office. Stacey,
how cold does it have to be kept? Do they keep it outside?
Good question. I got a great question for you, Stacey, because I've been seeing a lot about lately fusion as a power source for the future. Now, of course, nuclear power plants currently use fission, which produces byproducts that are deadly, and you got to put them somewhere.
Yep.
But fusion is how the sun.
About this,
did we? Or
2
maybe
weeks ago?
Yeah, I'm just giving you something else to talk about. So the sun. But you didn't answer me.
Job, Stacey.
The sun.
No, we talked about the New York. The New Yorker did a big article. It was there every 10 years they look at fusion.
Yeah.
And there was a startup at MIT that has figured out. I swear to God, we talked about it.
Maybe we did. I'm sorry. I do combine in my mind fusion with quantum computing because they both seem like way out there, distant in the future. Maybe never. That's all.
So there.
That's how my mind works.
I don't know what to say here. There's a 238, I think, is the most largest qubit computer running around right now. So Finland's computer is not
little, teeny weeny. Yeah.
It's itsy bitsy qubit computer. 256 qubit.
Big enough for Finland.
Who has the 256? Is that IBM?
That is it's actually
Harvard.
A startup
Harvard built
from
it.
Harvard and MIT.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Quera. QUERA computing.
Nice.
But it's only for specific problems. Google has a 53 qubit machine, and IBM has a 53-bit quantum computer.
How big would a quantum computer, how many qubits would you have to actually do real work?
The issue with quantum computers is you have to program them to do a specific type of job. Like, so they're only good at certain types of jobs. So it's not like.
So it's not analogous
to apples to oranges.
Yeah, or like it's got 256 transistors. You would say,
yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
So you'd have to like run them as a benchmark. You'd have to do like in some things like Monte Carlo simulations, the quantum computer is going to be much better at than a traditional computer.
Right.
But I don't, like
it's good for simulations particularly.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think because you couldn't gauge it on performance. You could do it on speed of application, but you'd also want to have one other thing. So you'd be like, would it be energy as your trade-off? Would it be cost? Because quantum computers on cost can't. I mean, no. Again, I don't think you could do a benchmark here. You're going to have to come up with a completely new job that can only be done with
new
the
things.
Quantum computer.
Okay. Well, one of the things, of course, that always comes up with quantum computing is the idea that it might make it easy to factor large primes, which is kind of critical to the public key cryptography system we use today. And if they got really good at that, we'd have to come up with another way. And actually, scientists are already working on alternatives. Yeah. I go
to. There are so many webinars on that right now.
Yeah.
I've been to at least 3. They're really hard to understand.
Yeah, it's pretty sophisticated. I don't know if it's elliptic curve they're using or something, but something that would not be as easy to crack as the prime factoring, which is what's the backbone of public key crypto these days. But and again, so that would be the question, like, well, how many qubits do you need to break the RSA? 4,000.
Oh, there's someone. I could answer that.
Key.
I've read this answer before.
Okay, I'll let you work on that while I read another ad. How about that?
Okay.
You want to know about this kind of stuff? There's a great place to go, Udacity. Udacity is an online education program geared towards people looking to take their tech knowledge to the next level. And man, do they have some great content that can really help you to go further in the career you want or get the career you want. The latest cutting-edge nano-degree programs you can't find anywhere else. Udacity is all about encouraging your career growth. They want to give you the information you need to decide what career you want, help you choose that career, then give you the skills for that career, and then they go all the way, help you get the job in that career. Aaron, here's an example. There's lots of success stories on the website. Here's a guy named Aaron. He said, Udacity's nanodegree programs and career resource center played an integral part in helping me land a job offer from Google. Nice. That is a hard thing to get. That is the golden ticket.
Yeah.
A job offer from Google. If you're looking to get into the most cutting-edge technology careers, you can get nanodegree programs in AI and flying cars. I would love that. In fact, they've got a nanodegree program for a flying car and autonomous flight engineer, or intro to self-driving cars, or machine learning engineer, or robotic software engineer, and a whole lot more. Udacity's courses are created with the companies you will want to work for, industry leaders like Microsoft and Google and IBM and AWS and more. They select team leads at the top companies to be your instructors, so you're learning from people who are in the field working on this stuff. You're going to get the right knowledge from experts who are working on these exact problems every single day in big businesses. This is so cool. When you sign up for a nanodegree program with Udacity, you can expect courses to be project-based. I think that's really important to get that active learning, to do it, to build it yourself. Not only does it test your knowledge, but having built those projects, you can now put them up on your GitHub, which they'll help you do. Put them a reference to it in your LinkedIn. People think a lot more highly if you could say, oh, yeah, that's a project I've worked on. That makes a big difference. Your projects and homework will be reviewed by qualified professionals in the field. You get real human feedback, reviews, just like real code reviews. And you're never alone. You're going to get access to mentors 24/7. It's actually a great community at Udacity. Flexible schedule. You can work whatever, as hard as you want, as little as you want. But to give you a sense, if you work maybe 5 to 10 hours a week, you can graduate in as little as 3 months. Here's a good example of a scholarship offer at Udacity. There are quite a few of them. If you go to the Udacity webpage and select scholarships under resources, there's one, 110 and Blacks in Technology has teamed up with Udacity to offer part-time online tech scholarships for Black Americans who don't have a 4-year degree.
That's awesome.
The truth is, the 4-year degree is not necessarily the golden ticket. You need to get the skills these companies want. And having a nano degree program at Udacity, having that certificate can make such a difference. Right now, 110 Blackson Technology and Udacity are offering 2,000 full scholarships for qualified applicants. You can apply today at udacity.com. And scroll to the bottom of the webpage and select scholarships under resources, because there are others as well. And if you're a business, you can use Udacity to upskill your entire workforce. Check out the enterprise section of Udacity's website today to learn more. So bottom line, get the in-demand tech skills you need to advance your career. A great way to learn, Udacity, udacity.com/twit to learn more. Check out the scholarship programs. And the fun thing to do, just browse around. I guarantee you're going to look at some of these nano degree programs and go, yeah, no, I want to do that. UDACITY, udacity.com/twit. This is how you get a $100,000 plus tech career in just 3 months. Udacity.com/twit. All right, Stacy. How many qubits would it take to crack a 4096-bit RSA private key?
Oh, 4096.
Oh, no, you can do 1024 if you want. That's okay.
I have a 2048-bit
2048 is
RSA
great.
encryption.
2048 is great.
You can actually, so in 2019, Google and someone from Sweden's Royal Institute of Technology figured out they could do it with just 20 million quantum bits.
Oh, 20 million. Now, how many do we have?
20 million.
How many do we have so far?
Well, 256.
Okay, good. I feel safe.
But hold on. There is a two-pronged answer to this. One is to get the exact number into complete Shor's algorithm for encryption.
Yes.
But there's another way to do it where it's kind of like probabilistic computing, where you get close, but maybe you go about it a slightly different way.
Yeah.
And the Chinese in 2020, they found a way to use D-Wave's quantum computer to factorize large integers and bypass Shor's algorithm completely.
Yeah.
And they think they can do that with, hold on.
A MacBook Pro?
Back to me. A MacBook Pro. No, 89 noisy qubits.
Noisy qubits. That's a lot less than 20 million qubits.
Yeah. So, but that was only factoring RSA 768. So there's a lot of.
So by the way, I used to use 4096. That's why I asked about that, and I now use a much stronger elliptic curve. So in other words, while people are talking about there's a potential threat with these quantum computers, we're kind of still far away from anything to worry about.
But now NIST has. This is why I go to those events. NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology.
They are.
They have a quantum proof encryption working group that should come out with.
Oh yeah, they're working on this right now. Yeah.
In 2024.
Yeah, I'm using Curve 25519 right now. Ooh. And I think it's not quantum proof, of course, but I think it's kind of what I should be using for now. And as anybody, and it's it's easy, you can do it fast. It's not a tough thing to do. I have a feeling in the long run it's going to, at some point, maybe not in my lifetime, there will be an 80 million qubit, maybe not.
I like retcon in our chat. You qubits keep quiet, or I'll go through the wormhole and quiet you down myself.
Curve 25519 is very good. Yeah, and by the way, yes, I was going to do it, and I decided not to. Lord, what's a qubit? Just a callback. Just a callback.
Of course.
Just a callback.
Yeah,
that's all.
more.
We don't have to go any farther. Google's "Do Not Be Evil" motto goes to court.
Ooh-wee.
What?
3 fired software engineers claim.
Oh, I did see this.
3 fired software engineers claim Google's "Don't Be Evil" clause of its code of conduct amounts to a contractual obligation. They filed a lawsuit in Santa Clara County, where Google is, in Superior Court, claiming the search giant fired them in 2019 because of their activism around Google's involvement with Customs and Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement during the Trump administration. They had organized fellow employees to speak out against immigration policies, released a petition signed by 1,495 Googlers, as well as 94 other supporters calling for an end to Google's involvement with a practice they viewed as unethical. Google, they argued, was doing something evil. And as a result, they violated the code of conduct, which amounts, according to this suit, to a contractual obligation.
It's hard to imagine how this gets very long.
If it's true, the engineers' activism was consistent with Google's own rules, meaning the company may have fired them unjustly. In other words, because the code of conduct said don't be evil, they had the right to raise concerns over what they viewed as an evil practice. That seems right.
Did Google change this little mantra from?
Maybe that's why, because this was in 2019.
Right.
But you're right, Jeff. I don't know what a judge is going to say.
Because show me the statute that defines evil. Yeah. No, in our new Sharia law in America, maybe it works. I don't know. Sorry.
I got a hunch they're going to get paid.
The code of conduct also says, and this is in the lawsuit, and if you have a question or ever think that one of your fellow Googlers or the company as a whole may be falling short of our commitment, don't be evil.
Here it comes.
Don't be silent. So they say, look, this is in the code of conduct. Mm-hmm. We were told to raise a ruckus.
Which was always the point about it, that it was an opportunity to question anything the company did to keep the company honest. What was Stacy doing?
Now, the company said they had fired them not because of that. And this is, by the way, it's strange how this keeps coming up, but because they violated the company's data security policies. That's why they fired Timnit Gebru.
Yeah.
That's why they fired her colleague, I can't remember her name, as well.
Margaret Mitchell?
Mitchell,
no.
Yeah.
What was it?
So, yeah, I think, she wrote Gone with the Wind, but I think she also worked at Google.
Yeah. I was like, no.
And she was married to an attorney general, but yes, also worked at Google.
Wow, there's a lot of Margaret Mitchells in the world. Yeah. So the NLRB is investigating this as well to see if they were unlawfully discharged. I think this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be evil in your code of conduct if you don't want to stand by it. And they, by the way, I think Google did remove that from the code of conduct in 2018. Although Alphabet has it in their code of conduct as do the right thing.
That's different than don't be evil.
If I were Spike Lee, I'd be upset.
Both are very subjective, but sure.
Yeah. As of September
it's like
2020.
Me wishing my daughter, sending her out the door and saying, make good choices.
Make good choices, whatever that might be. I'm choosing to get high. As of September 2020, Google's code of conduct did in fact say, quote, remember, don't be evil, and if you see something that you think isn't right, speak up. I think that's a good code of conduct, but maybe you shouldn't put it in writing.
That's the thing. I think they're going to get paid here.
You think so?
I think they're going to get paid.
And you don't think so, Jeff? We'll find out.
No. I think the judge is going to say.
It's an interesting point.
If the company had done if there's documents that say don't be evil, for example, and this violated that, then there'd be something to go on. But I think the don't be evil is very general, open to such. How can you hold Google to a standard of evil that isn't statutory? It just doesn't.
I think the speak up thing is more germane because it's
right.
Like,
yes,
I thought it was evil, so I spoke up. And
we were harmed. We were whistleblowers and harmed, but then you sue under whistleblower.
Well, I'm sure that's the NLRB's investigation, probably, right?
Yeah.
Here's a weird one. Remember, Facebook bought Jiffy, or is it Giphy?
Giphy, God.
Giphy. I was like, the peanut butter company? You almost had me again.
Is it Giphy or Jiffy?
It's Giphy.
Okay.
And the peanut butter is actually Jif, but.
Facebook agreed to buy. I can't say it.
Giphy.
In May of last year for $400 million. Regulators in the UK yesterday said they have told Facebook
that would be
to sell Giphy. They didn't know. They already bought it.
Well, it closed.
It closed. after finding, quote, the takeover could reduce competition between social media platforms and increase Facebook's.
It's interesting how one country can decide this on behalf of the whole world, too.
Well, can they? I don't know.
A company that's not based there.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Well, Facebook can always decide to not put things there. A country, I mean, do they have sovereignty over their citizens and what their citizens can access and do? Sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the law is on this. I mean, it's what happens in a global market is you're going to have competing national interests here.
This is interesting.
Yeah, we've been saying this, though, for like decades, and we're still not there yet.
We're on the show for decades. It's been that long, yeah.
Not only is the problem that Facebook's market power increases by denying or limiting other platforms access to GIFs.
Get it right.
GIFs. Or changing the terms of access to its GIFs for competitive sites. They also said the deal is anti-competitive because Giphy had an advertising business, which Facebook shut down. And they said, you know what? You bought Giphy also because that advertising business competed with yours. As a result, regulators said Facebook will also be required to reinstate the innovative advertising service Giphy offered before the merger. I've got to go to Discord to see how they feel about Giphy and animated GIFs. It's not a GIF, it's a GIF. All right. Wait, really? So we've all reached consensus that is GIF? Hard G GIF?
I'm a soft G person myself. I'm a soft G person when it comes to that.
Oh, my God. Why are we still debating this?
Well, but
I don't debate it. I just say it because I'm a grown man.
So the question is...
True.
You want to be wrong.
I will go with what the company said is his name, right? Because...
no, they don't have a right to determine the route.
Really? They don't?
Really?
Unless they're right.
No, because it's a company name. There is no word Giphy. Here, let's see what it says on the YouTube.
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this American online database and search engine.
Okay, the CEO of Giphy calls it hard G.
More interesting tech words as well, so make sure to
stay tuned. This is the creepiest voice I've ever heard.
It's English with
what is happening?
Pronouncing it? Giphy, pretty straightforward. Giphy.
Okay.
All right, so that's the company. But
if
the
Julian
person that came up with the actual file, I thought they pronounce it as a soft.
They pronounce it GIF, but it's short for graphics interchange format. And graphics is a hard G.
Graphic.
How do you pronounce giraffe? Giraffe?
Well,
okay.
I went to Wingate University, but apparently it's supposed to be Wingate University.
Wingate.
Yeah, we can talk about Carnegie and Carnegie.
Wingate. All right, Giphy. I'm going to say Giphy because I don't like the guy who developed the Giphy format. So if he thinks it's GIF, I'm going to say GIF. And actually, it is relevant for the pronunciation of Giphy, regardless of how you pronounce GIF or GIF.
Yeah.
Because that's a company name. And the guy who founded it says it's Giphy.
That's fair enough.
That's
fair. You ready? You know what he says?
What?
Quote, at Giphy, we know there's only one GIF, and it's peanut butter. Alex Chung, founder and CEO of Giphy, said in a press release. If you're a soft G, please visit GIF.com. If you're a hard G, thank you. We know you're right.
Oh,
wow.
Right. Giphy.
Smug much, dude?
Giphy.
In any case, it became meta for a short while.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Does this mean if the UK says
divest?
You must divest, do they have to? I guess. I mean, if they want to be in the UK, I don't know. This is fascinating.
I don't know.
So that's enough for them to not be in the UK?
I think it just thumb their nose and say, make us.
Yeah, right. It's like, we're a U.S. company.
Make us. What are you going to do?
And then they're going to say, well, you can't be in the UK.
Hey, you know what the UK did do this week that was so exciting?
What?
They passed their cybersecurity law. It resembles a lot of California's SB 327. It's a cybersecurity device law. Says no hard-coded passwords, no default passwords.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
It provides an expiration date for security updates on connected devices at the point of sale.
This is fantastic.
All right.
Woo!
All right.
The California law does not do that last bit. That's where the UK law kind of boosts out. And I've been calling for this for years. So when you buy something that's connected, you should be able to say, look on the box and be like, I have 5 years of security updates. Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's really great. The National Labor Relations Board, speaking of the NLRB, has reordered a new election at Amazon's Bessemer, Alabama site. They said, you guys really messed with this, and you're going to have a second union election. Did you see John Oliver's thing on union busting? It was quite good a few months ago.
I haven't seen him in a long time. YouTube is just getting better and better with its recommendations for me. I love it.
Okay.
We know everybody wants to watch John Oliver except for Aunt Pruitt, so we will not push that to him.
The union said Amazon's intimidation and interference prevented workers from having a fair say in whether they wanted a union in their workplace. Amazon says it's disappointing the NLRB has now decided that those votes should not count. Our employees have always had the choice of whether or not to join a union. They overwhelmingly chose not to earlier this year. In fact, that was true, 1,798 to 738 against.
Wow, that was
what
back
did they
in
say
April?
that Amazon did?
Seems like that was just
among
a
other
month
things,
or so
installing
ago.
their own mailbox to collect ballots. Amazon security guards had access to the mailbox, giving some workers the impression Amazon controlled the results. One of the things companies do is they have mandatory on-site meetings with anti-union representatives who explain why a union is a terrible idea, and you got to go. Mandatory?
Oh, that's a little.
A lot of companies do that.
Really?
Yeah. Again, John Oliver had a good piece on it. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
They don't violate the law. You know, you kind of try to stay within the letter of the law, maybe not the spirit quite. But that was a big deal. Remember that when Alabama voted no?
Yeah,
Amazon
I thought that
said,
was like
see,
a month or so
everybody's
ago.
happy
Wow.
at Amazon fulfillment centers. We don't need unions. They hate unions. They do, just like Starbucks. They hate them.
I worked for Advanced Publications, which is Condé Nast and Newhouse newspapers, and there was one union newsroom in the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and the others were given in newsrooms. If you weren't union, you were given a lifetime job guarantee. Well, come the troubles of the internet, they had to redefine life. And had to say, well, no, it's the life of the company, not your life. And we're going to close the company and then reopen it as something new. And so, yeah.
It's that Bret Taylor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Squirrel.
That's a delayed reaction.
We talked about that like 2 hours ago.
No, that's Bret Taylor. That's what I tried to say.
That's wild. So he is now the chair at Twitter and the co-CEO of Salesforce.
Yes.
I know him from back in the day. He created Friend Feed, which I loved. He worked on Gmail and Google Maps. This guy was
Bret's great.
Great guy. CTO of Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, that Bret Taylor.
You're getting good with your callbacks.
Yes.
Oh.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen to me. You just steamrolled over it.
I knew the name, and I thought, oh, it can't be that Bret Taylor. He's a computer programmer, but I guess he's also a good business person.
Yeah, he is.
He was a founder at Quip. But he's, that's how he got to Salesforce. Yeah. They bought Quip. No, he's a great guy, great coder. I'm pretty sure we've interviewed him on our shows. I feel like I know him.
He's too big for us now.
Not now. No, he's too big.
No.
What's this theory about co-CEOs being a bad idea? Someone said
it just never works out. That was me.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking about, can we name any co-CEOs that have been a good idea?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The most famous is Oracle, right? I mean, they don't.
Oracle.
Yeah, RIM was the last one I remember.
Yeah, RIM worked because those two guys were founders.
No, they did not work.
Yeah, look how well RIM's doing.
Yeah, look how well.
Don't you have a BlackBerry in your future? No, actually, it's interesting because they renamed themselves BlackBerry, but now they own QNX. Mm-hmm. They actually have found us, but Bazilis or whatever his name is, they've left. Demonism.
Yeah, they're back to single CEOs.
Yeah.
At Salesforce, Benioff is clearly the boss. Benioff takes over any room he's in, but I think this is a way probably
but maybe
to
this
say,
is how to
this
get
is my
him.
right hand.
He's trying to get out, so maybe he has to do this double thing for a while to keep the investors happy.
It's really interesting because, I mean, Bret's a great coder and a great product guy. To see him as a business guy is an interesting thing.
He's been in this role. He's been at a high level for quite a while.
Yeah, he left
himself.
Google in 2007 to become a VC. So
all the normal people are screaming, the nerds are taking over. right?
I guess that's what it is in a way, and that's where my surprise lies. It's not somebody from Bain Capital, you know.
I think it's interesting because I think we're entering to this like service/API economy. And so I think there's a lot of issues that need to be technically solved when doing these business deals. And I think having an understanding of that will give companies an advantage.
Yeah. Well, look at Sam Lesson we had on the show last week.
That was so good.
He was great. There's a perfect example of a guy who's both a coder and a business guy, and obviously a very successful VC.
By the way, one thing we glanced around too is the number of, I think, Indian-born CEOs in technology keeps growing.
Yeah.
Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella.
And now Agrawal.
Yeah, Twitter.
Agrawal.
CTO.
Go look up is Thai still a thing? Because if it is, I guarantee you there's Indian CEOs everywhere.
Yeah. What's Thai?
The Indus American something. It's an organization. It's a networking organization for South Asians.
That Bret Taylor. I like him.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
It came out of nowhere.
Well, there was another story about him being named co-CEO of Salesforce, and I thought, wait a minute, I know who that is.
I should have moved that up and run down.
I'm getting old. That's all it is. It really is. How about we do one of them? You know what I'm talking about? Press a button. He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
The Google change log.
I'll press a button.
It's time for the change log. Google announces a grab bag of new features for Android for the end of 2021. This is actually, Google's policy these days lately is to hold features back and ship them over a gradual period of time. New widgets, new Android Auto features.
Could they fix Android Auto first for the 6?
Maybe that's the fix.
Fix Bluetooth and Android 12.
Updates for Google Assistant, Google Photos. Big blog post from Google. So this is like all-in-one changelog. Get festive this holiday season with new Android features. This just came out. I haven't had a chance to read it. Keep your family on track this season with Family Bell.
What's that?
It's an alarm for the whole family.
Well, that's obnoxious.
Family members will be able to set bells on their own devices so they can stay on top of their individual goals too. But with Family Bell on your Android phone, home speaker, smart display, bells and notifications will go off throughout the house when it's time for important moments throughout the day.
I may need to implement this. We struggle with this.
Family Bell. No, you know, right? Mm-hmm. Time for dinner or time to get ready for school, that kind of thing.
They're all doing their own thing. Yeah, I may need to implement this because I usually have to yell.
Right.
I literally
when I was a kid, my mom got so tired of yelling, "Come down for dinner," that she got a bell that she would ring. So this is just the modern equivalent.
You have a Pavlov response to this day.
My mouth still waters.
We flick the lights on in downstairs for our daughter's room. We just doop boop. So
she knows. That's a good idea. It's a lot better. It's much more civilized than going, hey,
wait, that was quite the IoT moment. That was an IoT humble brag. No other parent can do that, but I can because my house.
How do you do that? Do you give it a voice command or?
There are multiple ways. We use a Lutron Pico upstairs, and then the Google display for.
So there's a button on the display. The other room
she's in.
Or can you just say?
Yeah, we have a physical Pico remote for her bedroom, and then if she's in the family room, we just use the Google display. There's no toggle on the voice, and it's a big complaint I have.
One of our listeners, I don't know how he figured this out, Roberto. I'm lying in bed on my birthday in the morning, and my Echo suddenly says, "You have a message from Roberto." and he comes on in my house and says, "Happy birthday." And I thought, thank God no one else I know has figured out how to do this. Roberto, you're smart.
Oh, happy belated.
Well, I don't care. First of all, I don't, but it was like, what? How did he's, I don't.
That's great and creepy at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, how did he figure that out? So maybe he knows about this Family Bell.
He knows know a lot more about that encryption than you do. Apparently.
I don't understand how he did it. Get more out of your favorite Google app. And by the way, and then the Amazon, you know how it has a light that pulses if you've got a notification. Pulsed until I said, all right, what's the notification? Roberto says happy birthday. All right, here's another one. Get more out of your favorite Google apps with widgets. Home screen displaying a photo of mother and child from the Google Photos People and Pets widget. Oh, it's easy, because I always have had a Google Photos widget, but now you can have a People and Pets widget. Okay. You can have a Google Play Books widget. You might like that, Stacy, because I know you like books. You'll have a YouTube Music widget. You can have holiday tunes in it. And then the Google People and Pets widget. You can relive festive memories with Google Photos. I'm a big fan of memories in general, but now these will also, among other things, there'll be birthday memories, special event memories, New Year's Eve, Halloween, graduations. When you're driving home for the holidays or simply going to the store for some last-minute groceries, a suite of updates enhances just how helpful Android can be on the road, unless it doesn't work at all. Reply to messages in the car with a tap. You can set Android Auto to launch automatically when you connect your Android phone to your compatible car. Compatible car not included. To stay connected on every drive once you're on the road. So you should try, though, maybe with this update, maybe that's one of the things they'll fix. That would be nice.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm wasting $20 to buy an actual Google USB cable, so I can't. I'm trying to eliminate everything I can.
Yeah.
Nice people, nice listeners sent me a links to a Kickstarter thing that allows you to use wireless even if your car requires wired. Thinking that might fix it, but I'm not. I don't think so. I think it's something on the 6.
Once you're on the road, Android Auto helps you get things done so you can stay focused on the road. Smart reply options are coming soon to messaging. I love it, and I get this with Apple's CarPlay, but I presume it's available in Android Auto, where it'll say, you have a message from Abby, shall I read it? And it reads it. Would you like to reply? And I can dictate a reply.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to send it? I love that feature.
I used to get that when Android Auto worked.
That's really great, yeah. You can listen to your favorite music with a single tap of the new always-on play button right next to the home button. Coming soon, you'll be able to use your voice to search for music faster in your media apps on Android Auto. So a bunch of new features. App permissions are getting a privacy boost. Get notified when app permissions are removed. So apparently, after a while, the permissions will reset, and you'll have to go through that process again to give them permissions again. Your device will automatically turn off runtime permissions, which allow apps to access data or take actions on your behalf for downloaded apps you haven't used in a while. You can always turn them back on, but they'll expire if you don't use them. That's good, right? Mm-hmm. That's good. I forgot I'd left that on. Share the love with new Emoji Kitchen combinations. Have you played with Emoji Kitchen?
No.
Lets you take an emoji and fix it up, add to it.
No.
Yeah. That's
wouldn't
cool.
other people
Not
not
in high
see it
school.
then because it's not standard?
School.
Becomes a sticker. So
it's not an emoji, it's a sticker.
It's no longer, basically you're making a sticker with an emoji, I guess.
All right.
So those are some of the new features. Boy, that was one item in the changelog that turned out to be a great
changelog
many.
could go on for a long time.
Long time. Hours. Google's rolling.
Torturing me.
I hear Stacy's stomach growling, yeah.
Did you know my shoes are made in Maine?
Where?
In
Do
Maine.
they smell?
And you got it off quickly again. It's just... that just blows my mind. I'm serious.
Well, how long does it take you to take your shoes off?
I have to suck my belly in.
Oh, yeah.
He's wedged in there.
I do special limbering exercises so I can whip my shoes off.
Yeah, Leo does Pilates, and
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Very
That's
good for
part
you.
of my problem.
Google's rolling out Android digital car key support to Pixel 6, Galaxy S21, and select BMWs. That's the problem, Jeff. You need a BMW.
Yeah, exactly.
Android
Be the most
TV
obnoxious
12.
driver on the road.
Yeah. Android.
hey, I have a BMW.
Do you?
I love BMW.
Do you
I
have a
have a
Tesla
Tesla
and a
BMW.
BMW? Wow.
Oh, you're obnoxious.
Which
I mean, I've been told
I
I'm
can see you
obnoxious, but
coming
not for
behind you.
that.
which BMW do you have? What kind of BMW do you have?
It's blue.
Nice.
No, it's the 5 series.
I like the blues.
The 5 series.
5's very nice. Good choice. Ant's giving you a thumbs up.
5 series.
Android TV 12 is now available. Not sure if it's going to get to the Chromecast with Google TV. And Chrome OS 96 is out for your Chromebook with camera tweaks, nearby share in Android apps, and more. So go fiddle with your Chromebook. There's a new scan tab where the QR code option is now located. Oh, it does automatically detects edges. So it's really better for scanning. Interesting.
Wow, I'm at 94.
Oh, yeah. Well, get going. There's a new notification.
Oh, mine's up to date. It's that sees Chrome versus Chromebook.
No, it's Chrome OS. You're looking at Chrome. Yeah, look at Chrome OS.
No, I'm looking at Chromebook.
Oh, Chrome OS 96 is rolling out. Maybe it hasn't gotten here yet.
Rolling out.
Yeah.
Well, it's skipping one. I'm at 94.0. 4606124.
And that, believe it
Maybe
or not,
they just didn't want you to complain.
That's probably it.
not for Jeff. Nope.
Don't give it to Jeff.
He's
He's got opinions.
That's the Google changelog.
Sorry, Leo, I stepped on your.
We'll do it. No, I don't care.
exit.
I couldn't care less. We'll do a whole bunch of quick ones because there's a lot of them.
The Tesla story? You don't like the Tesla story?
What's the Tesla story?
Up to line quick takes.
Model Y
41.
brakes constantly. And by brakes, I don't mean it's broken. I mean the brakes
Stops the vehicle.
stop the vehicles. Yeah, people are starting to complain about various bits. Even Elon said, "Can you guys don't rush? We got plenty of time. Don't rush when you're making our vehicles." So maybe the factory there's a
Well, it seems like a software problem in this case. It thinks that it's got barriers that it doesn't have.
Oh, well,
And so
I
you
had
drive
that
along,
problem with my Model X all the
brakes.
time. Lisa complained about that all the time. It would think, because it has, as many cars do, the auto stop if you're about to run into something, and she'd be driving down the road and all of a sudden, because it thinks something's in the road, but there's nothing. It sees
That's
things.
scary. As much as
That's
I
not
love
good.
You can turn that off, though,
software
right?
scares me.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Little controversy over 23andMe. They did a SPAC, as you remember. We talked about that some months ago. They're earmarking cash from that SPAC for drug development. They want to use what they know about your genome to help drug companies develop. Now, see, this is an interesting question. That maybe, Jeff, you don't think this is such a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
By querying its database, 23andMe can find causal links between genetic variations and disease. Remember, they collect not only the genetic information, but they also collect your phenotype. These questions you answer all the time in questionnaires. And they're using that information to develop new treatments. Among its findings so far, evidence of genetic variants that bolster the immune system and decrease the risk of cancer. They actually have 2 immuno-oncology drugs under development through GlaxoSmithKline. One's in the clinical trial stage.
Does anybody think that's bad?
I think that's good, but privacy people say, well, wait a minute, that's my genetic, but this is for everybody.
It's the same people who got mad because Amazon didn't pay them to use their devices for Sidewalk. That's how I think of it. It's the same people who are mad because they're like, well, I paid them my money to get my gene tested. They
and they do keep your spit. I mean, they keep your stuff. So it's not, I don't know. There must be a process, thanks to GDPR and the California privacy law. There must be a process to say, hey, destroy my genetic info, right?
Yeah, if you're a citizen of the EU or California, yes.
Same difference.
I don't know what that means.
Wait a minute now.
But it's funny. I don't know what that means at all. It's funny.
What are you, from Texas now? Good Lord, Jeff.
Wait a minute.
You Europeans.
That Bret Taylor? Okay, good. This is a good one. Here's a good one. You could get, if you trick people into visiting a malicious web page, there are 150 models of HP printers that can be compromised. And once they're in the printer, as you know, Stacy, on IoT, they can use that printer to attack your network, steal information, and infiltrate. Problem is, printers, we don't think of them as IoT devices, but they in fact are, because they're on the internet.
Yep.
Lexmark actually just launched their own IoT platform based on everything it learned about printers over the last 2 or 3 decades. It actually
Lexmark?
looks like a good platform. The printer company?
Yeah. They're still around? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. An Indonesian court has given the government permission to pull the plug on the internet if it should feel threatened.
Wait, who's pulling the plug on the internet?
The Indonesian government. Indonesia.
Oh, okay.
Indonesia's been cracking down on tech platforms for some time.
Yeah.
Cracking down is one way to put it.
Yeah. They restricted internet access during independence protests and demonstrations in Papua. And now really the government has all the power they need to simply shut down the internet or any individual service whenever they feel threatened. So that's not good. A new rule will allow debt collectors to track you down on social media. Federal regulators in the U.S.
They were surely doing anyway.
Well, now it's official. This is a change to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act.
It's because everyone's ignoring the phone calls.
Well, how do you
nobody
find
has
the
a phone
number?
call. Yeah.
This is actually a Trump era.
I, however, do have one. I have to explain to the kids what this is.
What is that?
It seems like you would shame you even. That's because we stopped them from calling like at certain times that were problematic.
Right. Now creditors can slide into your DMs.
Along with every other spammer there is.
You can't. They are not allowed to post something that can be seen by the general public. So that's good.
Okay.
Or by your friends and followers. But they can send you private messages asking that you add them as a friend or contact.
That's hilarious.
But they do have to say we are collecting a debt.
Yeah.
And you can't opt out. So this is all right. This doesn't seem too bad. There is a bill which probably will die in Congress, but House and Senate Democrats have reintroduced the Stopping Grinch Bots Act, which cracks down on scalper-run bots, which buy up things like graphics cards.
Oh man!
Or PlayStation
concert
5s,
tickets
or concert tickets. Yeah, Paul Tonko from New York, Senator Blumenthal, Schumer, and Lujan will crack down on cyber Grinches using bot technologies to quickly buy up whole inventories of popular holiday toys and sell them to parents at higher prices.
But how do you crack down on bot transactions?
Well, I think probably if you have a law that punishes it, it helps, right?
You don't. You write a press release saying you wrote this bill and you hope you get 2 votes for it.
Right. And it's got a good name, Stopping Grinch Bots Act, which is hard to say. I got to tell you.
Is it Grinch or Drinch?
That'll get the votes.
Grinch. Newt Gingrich. Hey, you should learn statistics. I'm just saying. It's a useful skill. Apparently, there's a person going around. His name is Alex Berenson. Do you know who that is? He's a Substack guy. Wrote a post.
Former New York Times, but living off the fact that he's former New York Times, he's far out on the edge of wacko bill.
Posted a Substack saying, this sounds scary. Vaccinated English adults under 60 are dying at twice the rate of unvaccinated people the same age. You know, if you don't know statistics, you might go, okay. But then, thank goodness for data scientists, because a guy named Jeffrey Morris has published a rebuttal which says, in fact, English adults under 60 who have watched the 1984 Ghostbusters movie are dying at twice the rate of people who have watched the 2021 Ghostbusters movie the same age.
Oh, boy.
And they happen for 6 months.
The pandemic's wrongest man.
So if you believe that watching the old Ghostbusters movie is more likely to kill you than watching the new one, I've got a Substack newsletter.
I thought this was a parody.
To. At first, when I read it, I thought, well, that's silly. And then I realized
somebody making fun of statistical stupidity.
At the very end, he says this is exactly the same statistical error that Berenson's making.
Nicely done.
Yes.
I don't understand it myself, but, you know, statistics. Satya Nadella sold half of his shares in Microsoft. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot to sell.
But we figured it out on Windows Weekly, thanks to Mary Jo Foley. $300 million worth of stock because the state of Washington, your state, Stacey, is about to change its capital gains rules. I guess they didn't tax capital gains before. Now they're going to. And this 7% tax for long-term capital gains starts beginning of next year for anything exceeding $250,000 a year. 7% of $300 million is $21 bajillion. So I can understand now why he's cashing in. Plus, he might have a little yacht.
Like he doesn't want to help the homeless or pay for roads or...
It's a perfectly reasonable tax
And you can't write off the state taxes on your federal taxes. So.
Right. That's right. Don't like that. We're in a high-tax state. Don't like that. Congratulations to our friend Neil Dash. He saved the floppy disk that he got from the Prince folks.
His wife must be ready to kill him for saving all this stuff.
I guess when Prince changed his name from Prince to the artist formerly known as Prince with that weird symbol. They sent floppy disks out to journalists with a font on the floppy disk that had one character, that.
That's the beautiful part.
So that they could use Prince's symbol in their stories. Of course, it didn't take long before somebody, a British journalist, I think, said, oh, we'll just call him the artist formerly known as Prince, and that'll solve that. And Neil Dash had one of these floppies, and he brought it over to the folks at Adafruit because he didn't have a floppy drive. And they happened to have a PowerBook 180, the high-end 1992 model. Ooh, it is missing its ball, however, which makes it somewhat less than...
Somebody played with it.
Somebody less than desirable.
Cattle like that.
But they were able to not only recover it, but then to post it on archive.org so it is never again to be lost. His purpleness will be happy. This is the kind of thing that should go on the archive.org.
I just thought this was the kind of thing the internet's for.
Yeah. They actually have the image of the 3.5-inch floppy that was given to the press when he changed his name. Thank you, Anil Dash.
I think the kind of thing Bret Taylor might do.
That Bret Taylor? And I got to say, and I love to end the show with obituaries because people are dying. One of the greats, and a guy I had huge respect for named Jim Warren, passed away. He launched the West Coast Computer Fair in the 1970s. There's a picture, which the Times did not have, I wish they had found it, of him roller skating through the floor. I used to go to these fairs. He was legendary, roller skating around on the floor of it. It was, I think, the first computer trade show, the West Coast Computer Fair, in the 70s. He was the editor of Dr. Dobbs. You know Dr. Dobbs. Dr. Dobbs' Journal of Computer Calisthenics and Orthodontia. Okay. I used to subscribe. One of the great computer magazines of all time. And founded the West Coast Computer Fair. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak showed the early Apple there in 1976. Here's Steve at his booth at the first West Coast Computer Fair debuting the Apple II.
When I saw this in the rundown yesterday or whenever it was when I looked at it, I felt bad because I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. And I know I'm not the only person.
Oh, nobody does. You know? Nobody does. But this is what happens.
That? Why don't these folks get their flowers while they're on Earth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Jim did. Jim was a great guy, and everybody loved Jim. He's passed away at the age of 85. But, you know, I'm going to be dead soon, too, so you'll tell the world, right?
I got you covered.
Yeah, let them know.
So I used to think the only real fringe benefit of working for a newspaper is that your obit would run in it, but they're all dying faster than I am.
I know. Shoot.
I got you covered.
He is, if you're interested in the early history of the internet, John Markoff, the great John Markoff, wrote a book called What the Dormouse Said, How the 60s Counterculture Shaped the Personal Computer Industry. And he did quote Warren and talked about Warren's story in there and that. So if you read these old books about the history of Silicon Valley and so forth. But
But I mean, even in school.
They don't teach
these names don't come up in school. No. They always say, Steve Jobs. They never even said Steve Wozniak, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Why is that? Something's wrong there.
Well, I think
you've only got a limited amount of time.
Yeah, and I don't think Jim Moran invented anything that. But there's lots of people like Adam Osborne and Jim Morrow that you probably never heard of either, who did, in fact, invent early personal computers. Yeah, that's kind of my job, is to remind people. That's certainly one of the things in fact, really one of the reasons I started Twit was I wanted to get some of these people on camera, sit them down, talk to them before. We never did get Jim Moran on camera, I'm sad to say, but that was always kind of one of the agendas, was to kind of memorialize.
Who was the famous PR guy to Silicon Valley? You know who I mean?
Yes, I do know who you mean. The name escapes me.
Shoot.
That guy who doesn't like the word crap has now left the building. No more. Let's take a break. Picks of the week. We're going to wrap this up in just a moment, but first a word from CashFly. This show is quite literally brought to you by CashFly's CDN, Content Delivery Network. We've been using it practically since Twit started. In the early days of Twit, that was the big conundrum. How do I get the shows to people in a timely fashion without breaking the bank? Matt Levine of CashFly came to me and said, I can help, and we've been using CashFly ever since. In fact, I love them so much because when we went to them, we were so nervous when we decided to do video of all of our shows. We thought that's going to quadruple the amount of storage, the amount of bandwidth we're going to use.
How soon into making Twit did you add video?
Probably just a couple. Add video. I thought you were going to ask about CashFly because they did audio for a while.
Well, that was my next question.
Adding video. When did we do that? 2009. John says. John is our archivist, so about 4 years in.
And so that's when the real crunch came.
Certainly from a bandwidth point of view. Yeah, and I was terrified. We went to CashFly. I said, we have something we want to tell you. We're going to quadruple the amount of bandwidth we're using. And they said, hey, cool. They're such a great partner.
That's awesome.
Now they do streaming, ultra low latency streaming. And I'm not talking WebRTC. I'm talking about real low, 1 second delay or less. And it's just great. They offer an HTML5 player. There's an SDK so you could put it on mobile, on websites, on applications, whatever platform you want to be on. Of course, CashFly is completely global. See those dots? That's their points of presence, 50 points of presence all over the world. Their low latency network means your video streams will stream quickly, no buffering anywhere you have viewers, regardless of where they are. And man, it scales beautifully. You could deliver to more than 1 million users concurrently, as well as ingest thousands of synchronous streams. I remember when the first 100,000 viewer video stream happened, and we were just like agog. 100,000 people simultaneously. You could do 1 million. 1 million. Plus, their platform is designed for transmuxing thousands of streams simultaneously. With live failover, they can ingest RTMP, RTMPS, SRT, all formats to deliver ultra-low latency SLDP and HLS streams, and they can do it all simultaneously. And, of course, the thing I love about CashFly, they will build a solution based on you. You're unique, and CashFly can make you a solution that's just right for your traffic patterns, for your budget. And it's all built on their reliable, robust global network with ingest and delivery wherever you need it, and the best support in the world. And I can vouch for that. They're fantastic. They're always there when we need them. CashFly, it's the world's fastest, most reliable CDN, backed by a 100% SLA, up to 5 times faster than other CDNs. 100% SLA. I love CashFly. They're also great citizens. They've partnered with World Central Kitchen to serve 300,000 warm meals. Good for you, CashFly. They pioneered the first Anycast CDN infrastructure way back in 2002. Their best hop technology automatically finds the fastest route to and from customer origin across their global network of POPs for maximum performance and reliability. CashFly. Go right now. You can get a complimentary detailed analysis of your usage, your billing. See if you can save. I bet you could save as much as 20% with CashFly. Go to twit.cashfly.com. No hard sell, just good information. It'll help you make the right business decision. twit.cashfly.com. Great company, great people. And we thank them so much for making all of our shows possible. twit.cashfly.com. Stacey Higginbotham, what's your pick of the week?
Ta-da! This is the Phi collar.
Okay, I don't know if a dog collar is the best thing for a pick of the week, but okay. Is that a dog collar?
Let her finish.
What is it?
It is a connected dog collar.
What?
This is it's connected to Bluetooth on my phone, and then it has a GPS ability.
Oh, see, I want this. Yes. But always these GPS tracking collars have been too big for the doggy.
So my dog is 24 pounds. Is she here? Let's see if she's here. Let's see if you're going to see her.
We heard her earlier.
Is she over there? Oh, yeah, she's on her little blanket.
There she is. I see her.
Oh, she's a little puppy.
So she's about 28 pounds, and she's mostly fur. And she can wear this. It is much bigger. I've got her other collar here.
It's not too heavy. Yeah, it's a little bigger, but it's still, she can wear it. That's the point, right?
She can wear it. It's not too heavy.
Because don't you always want to know where she is and what she's up to and what do they do when you're not around?
I know where she is. She's usually wherever I am.
She doesn't go outside?
On my bed.
Does she not go outside?
She has a dog door, but she doesn't like going outside without me. She's old, too. She used to escape a lot, though. It would have been good then. But what I can show you is she doesn't like going on walks in the morning. But on the app.
Oh, see, that's what I want to see. Like, I want to see how they walk around, where they go. I think that's so cool. That's so cool.
Okay, so
there's a GPS, but how does it get the information back to you?
There's a bridge that plugs in to my Wi-Fi. So it'll either talk to my phone or to that bridge and share data from the collar to
So it saves
back
it
to my phone.
And then when they get nearby.
It saves it.
Okay. So you can't see where she is in real time, or can you?
I can, actually. I can turn on the GPS and see where she is in real time. And I get notifications.
Don't laugh. I'm getting shorter. It's not nice to laugh at short people.
That tight shot. And I'm like, what is he doing?
Towards the end of the show, I just like to relax.
The seat is slippery, Ed. You can't help just slipping down.
I didn't notice until I saw it on the camera. So what the heck?
You want to see me take my shoe off?
No.
Like that. Just like that, instantly.
How do you think he reaches down to get it?
Sorry, Stacey. Go ahead. Can you use it to track your dog?
Miss Stacey, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I feel like the child who brings the crappy stuff to show and tell.
No.
Right, y'all.
It's the other way around. You're the adult. We're the children.
Right.
Yes.
So it also tracks your dog's sleep. And I like this because my dog sleeps with her eyes open, which is so creepy.
That's creepy. Yeah.
But
sleep tracking for a dog.
Yeah. So my dog last night slept for 11.2 hours, and she's got 6.2 hours of naps during the day.
That is cool.
So 17 hours a day. That's good.
17. Cool. Yeah. So, and you get little rankings for your dog. I will say, note that there are two downsides to this. One, there's a subscription because of the cellular component.
Okay.
Of course.
That's fair. Oh, there is a cellular connection. Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, sorry. That's the real time. Sorry.
Oh, there is real time.
Oh,
nice.
Yes. It's a sorry. There is cellular service there. I just realized. I'm like, oh yeah. So there's a subscription. A monthly subscription. Is it
how much?
$10 a month.
Okay. It's worth it. You know what? If you love your pup, that's not a big deal. That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, and then what is LTE? Yeah. It says it's on LTE-M. What is LTE-M?
It's LTE Cat M. So it's
I thought it was for dogs.
It's not the fat LTE. It's the
low power, long
LTE.
Distance. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, most LTE is long distance, but yes.
It says it reaches 30% farther than normal LTE networks. So that's cool.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just reading the website, but.
And then the other downside to note is that how I talked about Mozilla's privacy not included thing, the Fi tracks all your data and then some. It just wants to know where you are, so it can tell you things like your pet is not near you, so if it's with you.
It has escape detection. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. When you get it, you set a little boundary around your home, and it's a pretty narrow boundary. It doesn't even cover my whole property.
Yeah.
Thank you. And whenever the dog leaves the geofence, I get an alert. which is nice. Usually I'm with the dog. It's actually whenever
now
I'm not
I want to get a dog now because this is great.
I got 2.
Yeah.
How
much? So battery life, do you have to charge it every night?
Well, so I take my dog's collar off at night, usually. So I charge it. I've had it for about a week and a half, and I charged it like once a week.
Oh, that's not bad.
Why do you take it off?
She's got these jinglies, all her tags, and I know you have the things, but she's and she likes to get under the bed, and it's kind of a process.
We used to do that. We would take the dog's collar off. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never think about that.
I've been wanting this forever, and we've tried putting Bluetooth tags. Work. I've always thought this would be a great product. This is cool. $150, which is not bad. It's waterproof.
Yeah, and you can, let's see. The one I just showed you is $112 at Chewy right now.
Oh, man, I got to get a dog.
Oh, and it tracks your dog's steps if you care for that. And it ranks them.
Hold on. Does it count the 4 legs and divides by 4? How does it count steps?
No, I think it counts all the feet because she walks more than I do. Her feet are but she's smaller than I am too. Well, she takes way more steps than I do.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Of course, this isn't going to prevent her from getting stolen, for instance, but it's just for getting lost.
Yeah.
This is great.
I don't think anyone wants to steal my dog.
No, but if I got I always wanted a...
You got a cute little pug or a
French bulldog.
The bulldogs.
No, they get stolen. They get stolen, yeah. I'll get a mutt. I'm going to go to the rescue and get a mutt.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the right
Absolutely.
way to do it. Yeah.
And it's a very sturdy collar, and they come in different...
Nice.
You can buy fancier collars if you want.
Yeah, and clip it in. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It's probably...
TRYFI.com.
Yeah, try-fi.
Try-fi.
So there you go. And
good pick.
I mean, yeah.
I guess that's an IoT device.
It's connected to my phone. It's got a freaking cellular modem in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to fight me on this, Leo?
No, I'm agreeing. I'm saying it is.
Look at that look on her face.
I'm scared of her.
Okay.
Totally scared of her. Mr. Ant Pruitt. Oh, no, I guess I do. I'll do Jeff first for the number, and then we'll do Ant. Jeff, your number of the week?
I don't much like my numbers. Let's see. Have you been to the Mobile Phone Museum before?
No.
Oh, all right. Let's try that one.
So all the kinds of mobile phones you'd ever want.
Let's have a little
Who runs
run down
this?
memory lane.
Is this? Wow, I've had a lot of these.
Oh yeah, you probably have them all. In the back room
knowing you.
Yeah. There's a phone I had that was the skinniest, thinnest little phone. I've been trying to remember who made it.
The J phone there? No.
It'll be in here, I bet you. It was really cute. Yeah, it was a company that doesn't currently make phones. It was some Japanese company, I think, like Sanyo. I think it was a Sanyo, I think it was.
Sanyo.
Wow, this is cool. Look at this. Do they claim every phone
No,
ever?
I don't think so.
And their order seems somewhat random.
It is.
So
the official website of the Mobile Phone Museum, a charity with over 2,100 individual models.
Oh, so you could search by brand. Let's see if they have any.
We have over 2,000 unique models in the collection, but they're still searching for some iconic phones.
Yeah, this is not it.
Yeah, they missed
collections.
One of mine, they missed it.
And you can go by year, which is fun. That's cool. Nice. It's an online museum. History is calling. The official website of the Mobile Phone Museum, a charity with over 2,100 individual models. Is there a location?
I don't know.
You can donate your phones too, which is fun. I bet you. I probably could find something there.
Yeah, you could.
They really want this one. I remember this one. Remember that spun around? This is their most wanted.
Oh, that was a spin around. Yeah.
Yeah. With 2,000 models, but there's still many iconic phones. Visit the most wanted page. That's what I want.
So they're unable to they stage exhibitions.
Yeah.
Which they're not doing right now, but that'll be fun.
The Tag Heuer Meridiest, the Motorola Aura, the Nokia N950. These are the most wanted.
Some of those were expensive.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, the Virtu?
Yeah, they of course they want a Virtu. I want the Mobira Senator. This is 4 senators. HTC Sooner. Look at that. 957. That's a classic BlackBerry. Wow. Huawei made a Kentucky Fried Chicken phone. They don't have that one either. It's pretty good set they've got. If this is all they're missing.
I like how they have a collection called The Ugliest.
Let's see that.
The ugliest phones.
Is it all BlackBerries? Because those things were hideous.
First best-selling James Bond phones. Ugliest. Oh, I had that Nokia. I definitely had that one. Ugly phones.
Wow.
Motorola personal phone, 1992. I had, wow. I had this, the Nokia 3650. See the dial?
That's
Is that ridiculous?
Yeah.
September 2002.
Yikes.
Yeah. I remember that very well.
Thank goodness for evolution in phones.
How about the Toshiba TS211?
That's not that ugly.
Not that ugly. Oh, I remember this, the iKids. In fact, I think I gave Henry this. He promptly left it in his pocket to get it washed because he did not want to have a kid's
Attaboy,
phone.
Hank.
It has little ears on it. Ooh, what's that? I don't remember that. The 7600, Nokia 7600 or the Nokia 7700. This was danger. This was, oh look, Ashton Kutcher using one. This is a danger envy. Oh, no, it's some guy who looks like Ashton Kutcher in a European town where they're watching.
Like the sidekick?
Yeah, the danger sidekick.
Okay.
The Paldi. Oh, that's ugly. Anyway, fun. Good pick. See? No, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, why is that ugly?
You like that? You like the bling?
The Samsung Diva? Yeah. I mean, I probably wouldn't. Oh,
Yeah,
fashion
it's
ugliest.
fine.
Ooh-wee. No, I'll pass.
Part of their fashion collection. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's that ugly. It's, it's interesting.
Meanwhile, one other number while we're at a little bonus here. Jack Dorsey is worth $12.3 billion. So don't cry.
What? How is that possible?
He and Block.
Wow.
He is the
That's amazing.
174th richest person, according to
Well, good on you.
Bloomberg's billionaires.
Oh, that makes me the 175th richest person. I'm right behind him.
Aunt Pruitt's sad news.
Yeah, I've been talking about the Hardheads, and the football squad had a great run, but they lost in the playoffs. Took a massive L against Foothill.
Foothill Falcons.
But they played hard. They just took it right in the nose. And I just wanted to give them a shout out for that.
But they went pretty far.
Yep, made it to the semifinals.
That's nice.
Yeah, semifinals.
I like it.
And then next up, I wanted to plug this week's Floss Weekly, as we're featuring Miss Lisa Levasseur. I believe that's how you say her name. I TD on that show, and she was really dadgum good and touched on a lot of good points. And if you're a member of Club Twit, you're really going to enjoy the bonus discussions.
Oh, okay.
As we went a little long and got a little bit nervous about pushing Windows Weekly out.
Hey, never worry about that. Just keep on going.
Oh, man, it was such good conversation post-show.
Me to Be's knees.
Me to Be Alliance is focusing on me, to business, the B,
nice.
Instead of the B2B stuff. It was really good. And lastly, I want to plug the 5. Oh, yeah, someone sent me a Christmas card.
Thank you.
Here, thank you. You know who you are, because this was a fan that I bumped into at a store here locally that recognized me. And
that's awesome.
So kind, but thank you. You know who you are. But I wanted to plug this book, 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts.
It's a classic.
I believe it's Gary Thompson.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's
Gary Chapman.
That's a great book. Yeah.
Check that book out. It can't hurt to read it and understand it.
Because generally, you have a different love language than your spouse.
Totally different.
And you got to know that so you know how to make your spouse happy.
Totally different. You know, I love Queen Pruitt, and I know she loves me, but boy,
she talks a different language.
Yep. 2 different languages. 2 different languages, and I want to make sure I get it right.
I think that's a classic, and that's a nice addition you got there. That's pretty. I like that. You got high quality paper with deckled edges.
Yes. Very fancy for someone like me. But what I like about it is I don't particularly do a lot of self-help books and things because in my opinion, a lot of them come off too woo-woo-y and just...
This one's very concrete. And good.
When I picked it up and read the first chapter, I was like, okay, this is something that I can totally understand and not a bunch of platitude stuff. That, so yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and if your spouse likes back rubs and you like a fine meal prepared in the French style, you just got to know that. That's all.
Or if you like me, I just like time.
Yeah, time. I don't want to talk. That's my problem. I don't want to talk.
Just time.
I have to talk all week. I don't like to talk. 5 love languages. Highly.
If we asked Lisa whether you like to talk or not, what would she say?
She thinks I like to talk, but I don't.
I'm with you, Leo, because I come off this show and
you're done.
No one in my family talks to me.
Yeah,
they're
done.
like, oh no.
But you have to understand that there are
Leo
people
put her
who
in a
see
bad
that
mood
as
this week.
No, they don't think I'm mad. They know I'm not mad. They just know that I'm just.
You need
I'm
a waffle,
tired, man.
I don't blame you.
I need a waffle and a book.
No, I'm that way too. I think we're introverts, and there's only so much human interaction we can handle before we just really run out of steam. We just lose our energy. And
no, I agree with that.
Don't bug me, man. I love
That's why
that.
we do the show for 3.5 hours.
Well, that's the weirdest thing about presentational people, performers, is a lot of them are introverts. That it's not at all unusual that we have this extrovert persona, but really, as soon as that's done, I think that's true.
I live it. I know it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been really fun hanging with you introverts. Thank you, Stacy. You're the best. Stacy on IoT.com. Subscribe to her newsletters, check out her events, read her articles, and then listen to the podcast, the IoT cast that she does with Kevin Toffel. And it's already dark, so we got to get you out of here. It's dark out.
Isn't it dark where y'all are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in the same place.
Oh, okay.
We're in the same coast. I know, but see, we don't know. We don't have any. We're like it's like a Vegas casino.
I was going to say, it feels like I'm in Vegas.
It could be any time of day or night, at all times. The window, you're pointing at a window like I could see out that window.
No.
There's nothing out there. It's dark.
Not a real window.
Oh, you turn the lights off. Turn them back on. So you have
There we go. So there is daylight out there.
No, that's not daylight. That's a blue light. So good. We can have it night or day, anytime. That's good. Aunt Pruitt.
The power of the DMX.
Check him out. Hop, hands-on photography. Of course, if you're hanging in the Twit Club Discord, you've got to say hi to your community manager because he does a great job.
Hop's going to be fun this week.
What's it going to be?
I got some questions as usual, and I'm going to address it. We're going to talk about some moon photography. And, for those of us that have the nice fancy Pixel 6 Pro or the Pro iPhone, I'm going to show you how to take some nice moon shots with those phones because everybody doesn't have a DSLR.
It's never dark if you've got a Pixel 6.
I like that phone. I just don't like Android 12.
I'm so glad.
I just don't like Android 12.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's the problem.
Jeff Jarvis is the director of the Town Knight Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark. Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York.
Yes.
I decided to merge that all together. That worked better, didn't it?
You did.
Then we don't have to wait quite so long. Frank Sinatra called him a bum. Ray Kroc called him a nickel millionaire.
Chicken Dead 21 in the IRC is right on time. I love it.
He was once asked to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Google does not pay him. Former TV Guide critic and our good friend, Jeff Jarvis. Thank you. It's always nice to see you. All three of you. Thank you all for joining us. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday right after whatever I do earlier.
Windows Weekly?
Yeah, and then I have the gas station sushi, and then about 2 o'clock we get together. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 2200 UTC. You can watch us make this show live at I don't know why you would, but you can. If you're one of them flash boys and you like to have it earlier than anybody else, at live.twit.tv. Chat with us live at irc.twit.tv or in our Club Twit Discord. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show are available at the website, twit.tv/twig. There's also a This Week in Google YouTube channel. You can watch the video there or subscribe to audio or video versions of the show and get it every week automatically in your favorite podcast client. If they support reviews, please do us a favor. Leave a 5-star review for everybody. I got 2 minutes till sunset, so let's get out of here. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye. You want to see my shoe?
Give it a snort.
No.
Man. Give it a snort.
What is happening?
Android is constantly evolving, and if you're part of the Android faithful, then you'll be just as excited about it as I am. I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android, along with my co-hosts Florence Ion and Ron Richards, where every week we cover the news, we cover the hardware, and we cover the apps that are driving the Android ecosystem. Plus, we invite people who are writing about Android, talking about Android, and making Android onto the show. Every Tuesday at twit.tv, look for All About Android.